What is going on, everybody? It is episode 331 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary, and happy Friday. Let us know in the chat what your weekend plans are, any. I'm curious. Yesterday, it was a fun show, but you know, PCC, the fun never ends. We have a returning guest today. It is Xernue.
Introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. It's me. So happy to be back again on Pop Culture Crisis. Truly honored. So thank you guys for having me, and I hope we're gonna have a wonderful show today on this amazing Friday.
It is. Is it actually? Well, I have no idea if it's an amazing day out. Is it raining out? Is it nice out? I've been stuck upstairs.
It's not actually nice out.
Okay.
I'm gonna break the illusion.
It's not. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's raining.
It was nice until I said so. They didn't know that. This is my own fault.
Whatever.
Now. It's my own fault. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Blac Chyna, who we just talked about the other day, actually, she had her the fillers in her cheeks removed that had them dissolved out. Took like 9 hours to have all
her
this
lips
work.
too, right?
Yeah.
And her jawline.
Yep.
It was everywhere.
She's returning back to whence she came. She has been baptized, and she's gotten rid of her OnlyFans, and
She's gotten the silicone sucked out of her butt, quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about her finding God. That is a crazy thing to talk about in the current year, considering the fact that Hollywood seems to be moving further and further away from religion each and every day. We are also going to talk about something that's the opposite of God, and that's Maren Morris. She is herself, she was on stage and she basically said to the state of Tennessee, why don't you arrest me because I introduced my children to drag queens? Because in country music now, there's a weird sector of people that have to virtue signal all the time. So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about a male model named Jeffrey Thomas, who actually, from what I understand, now there's a couple of conflicting reports here. They say that he fell to his death while taking a selfie. I don't know if that's true. There are conflicting reports here. We're going to talk about that and this other video that I found that was very interesting of a female Instagram influencer who was taking pictures in the middle of burning rubble in France, because in France they have to protest literally everything. So we're going to talk about that. It's going to be about narcissism, I think, is the general concept behind that discussion. We're going to talk about that. Also, Emma Chamberlain, who is an influencer, she was caught. Would you say caught, or was she just? She was supposedly selling DMs from herself to other people for $10,000 a pop. Would you yourself ever know of any influencer that you would finance a message from?
In this economy?
In this economy? That's insane.
I don't know. Only Twitch streamers get those big sums of money, like Pokimane. All of the biggest Twitch streamers get those simps that, you know, pay out their entire life savings.
Yeah.
Emma Chamberlain fans, I just think of like 15-year-olds who have no money. So I have no idea who the target demo is for that one.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that, and we got a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys are ready, we will just get right into it. Mary, are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay. All right.
Are we
guys.
supposed to call you Xernue or?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that the
We'll just call you
We'll do
preference here?
Xernue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Consistent.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Thank you
All
for
right,
asking.
I got a couple of like quick things I want to mention here off the bat. Gotham Knights has been failing stupendously over there at the CW. The viewership is already down to like the 400,000 mark for a TV show that's brand new and has got major mainstream backing from the CW. It's already in cancellation levels. If you've, I watched about 15 minutes of it, and it's as bad as Velma.
What is this about?
It's a version of Gotham where Bruce Wayne is dead, and it's a bunch of supers. It's bad. It's CW trash.
What do you mean it's as bad as Velma?
It might be worse than Velma.
Why?
It might be worse than Velma. It's not. It's probably maybe less mean-spirited than Velma, like inherently mean-spirited than Velma, but it's very cringy. Like there's a scene in the pilot where somebody gets yelled at for dead naming a suspect.
A trans suspect?
Somebody who goes by a different name now. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So just
pretty bad.
Do with that what you will, ladies and gentlemen. Also, before we do get started, I want to point out that we will be reading super chats $20 and over. If you feel like interrupting this discussion, please also like this video, leave comments on this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. It helps us very much when we get the channel trying to grow through the algorithm. So also this, guys, Blockbuster's website is active again for the first time in a long time.
Xernue, I want to know, have you ever been in a Blockbuster?
Absolutely. I think they closed when I was like 7 or 8 years old. When I was really young, I would go all the time with my mom.
Really?
And we'd get
Me
a movie
too.
there. Yeah.
You must have been at the tail end of its existence.
And it was a wonderful place because there were like snacks at the front. So I would sometimes mom would let me get like a candy bar if she was feeling generous. So I have really amazing memories at Blockbuster. So if it has a revival, I will support them. No matter what.
I think what they could do is there was a story I remember. They turned the last standing Blockbuster into like an Airbnb that you could rent out for the night.
Oh my God.
That
stay
just
there.
sounds like some place for satanic rituals to be performed. I don't know how I feel about that. Bad vibes.
But it's what they could do is they could turn it into Spirit Halloween and just put it up during big movie times. I have no idea.
I don't know when that would be.
Put the big Spirit Halloween sign over there, except for it's a Blockbuster sign that goes down.
It can just be Blockbuster for 11 months. Out of the year.
Yeah. So it basically, did you guys see that there was Netflix tried to do a sitcom based on Blockbuster this year that nobody watched?
Is that why there was that pop-up in LA?
Yeah. And it was really just Netflix spiking the ball because Netflix is the one that they offered to buy Blockbuster for several $1 billion, and Blockbuster said no, and then ended up going out of business and being sold for $500 million or something like that for basically next to nothing. So it was Netflix spiking the ball and haha, we won the streaming wars. Now you have to deal with all of the awfulness. Yes, you will get used to it eventually.
There's an insect here, as I'm kind of scared. Okay, let me grab
You're good. You're good. Yeah, go ahead and grab it.
Actually, no, I don't need it.
Good?
Okay, sorry about that, guys. There's an insect that flew.
You get used to them eventually.
I'm sorry. I
with
kind
the
of
weather,
was a little excessive of a reaction.
With the weather changing now, they come out.
Backwoods.
Yeah, it's the problem with being out here. But also, it's Mary has told me that people her age don't use the mouse anyways, right?
I don't think so. It's sort of like how Gen Z uses subtitles for everything.
Yeah. Hey, I watch everything with subtitles because I'm deaf in one ear.
That's different, though.
It's just a habit that I got in. So even if I can hear it, I put the subtitles on for everything that I watch.
Yeah, my ears are fine, but I still use subtitles. I need them for some reason. So.
Yep. Also, guys, Selena Gomez wants you to stop bullying Hailey Bieber. She says that they're not fighting.
This was on her Instagram story. She said, Hailey Bieber reached out to me and let me know that she has been receiving death threats and such hateful negativity. This isn't what I stand for. No one should have to experience hate or bullying. I've always advocated for kindness and really want this all to stop.
She is truly one of the most manipulative people ever. I'm
Hailey
so
or Selena?
I'm totally team
okay.
Hailey. I'm at this point, I'm 1000% team Hailey because Selena keeps egging this on. It's been how many years? Yeah. And she will not get over it. And it's just the passive aggressiveness. She now follows Hailey Bieber on Instagram. They're following each other.
You think there's an agenda there?
Absolutely. She is a pity party person. That's Selena Gomez, and people fall for it. They all support her and feel bad for her. But
I think Mary, you said you were team Selena.
I
weren't you?
liked Jelena. I don't like Hailey as a person. I just don't really find her compelling.
I don't think she's compelling either. But I do looking at their relation. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Looking at their relationship, Hailey is the best option for Justin because she entered after his drug addiction, and he made Selena have a drug addiction. So his addiction.
Well, that's just a rumor, right?
There's a lot of evidence of them going into downtown LA in random alleys. There's videos of them getting drugs together.
I don't buy Justin Bieber ever has to go down an alley to buy drugs. I don't know if I buy that.
Videos of them.
I don't know if I buy that.
No, he definitely was on drugs.
But no, I'm saying that I don't buy that he has ever gone
how does he not have a plug that just goes?
He has somebody that
delivers.
comes to him.
If he's down, and I don't know. If you're down bad, I don't know. But either way, I think that in terms of looking at the relationship, Hailey is a source of.
She's he cleaned up his act, and then he gets a good Christian girl.
Exactly, and Selena reminds him of that drug addiction, cheating, past, and Hailey is not that. So, and she's very Christian, and that's a big part of Justin's life now. So that's where I say, looking at it, there's a reason why they're married, and there's a reason why him and Selena did not work out. And Selena needs, in my opinion, she's 30 years old at this point. She needs to move on. Jelena was 10 years ago. So that's my opinion on it.
The last time they were together was 2017, right? To be fair.
Yeah, that's 6 years ago.
I just can't believe she's bringing this up to say stop the drama now when the drama already ended. like days, maybe a week ago.
Yeah.
Fully. So she's just bringing it up again so it'll be relevant again.
Exactly. And it's just unnecessary. I mean, she has so much going on. Like, why do you need to keep harping on this? We can all, oh my gosh. I
You'll
wasn't
never
prepared
get
to that.
used to it.
I'm sorry. Okay.
There's
so
many things in the
so many
studio.
things going on. I got bugs jumping out of the money. Okay. But yeah, so that's my opinion on Selena, which is very unpopular. Like, you get a lot of hate.
Is she
criticizing
manipulative?
Selena. I think she's very manipulative. I think there's a reason why she does this. There's a lot of lore with Selena Gomez.
But I am also biased just because I think that Selena is more attractive.
I would agree with that. I think Selena Gomez is absolutely beautiful. So it's nothing to do with the looks.
Okay.
So,
all right. Also, guys, I do have this one, which is kind of funny. Roger Moore's son says that James Bond should remain a dude. Go figure, right?
Was he asked?
Yes. So it says his son believes that he should remain a male on screen. He was asked, and he said, look, if you want to make 006 or 008 or 009 a girl, you can. Well, you can't do that to 006 because Alec Trevelyan is a dude, and we're not making Alec Trevelyan, played by Sean Bean, a chick. We're not doing that. We're keeping James Bond. We're keeping 006 a guy. I just don't understand why people can't understand the very simple concept that people deserve to have new characters written for them. They shouldn't have to just take the leftovers of other people.
Well, that they want the leftovers though, because then it would feel like stealing something from men.
Yes.
The male power fantasy of James Bond is something that they have an interest in desecrating.
But there is no female power fantasy about wanting to save the world, because when men want to save the world, sure, they want to save the day, but most of the times in that movie, it's also intrinsically connected with saving a woman.
It just comes off as like
no
envy
woman
from
wants
women.
to save a dude. Not really. That's not a real thing. Like, no
But I
woman
don't think
spy
that
wants to save some cuck dude.
I don't think
who
women
needs to be helped.
fantasize about being a Bond girl either. Why would you
No,
want to
they
be a Bond
fantasize
girl?
about being a Bond girl. They
yeah.
just don't fantasize about being James Bond. Those
But
are different
why
things.
would you want to be a Bond girl? Because then you're not special in any way.
well,
No.
but you are in a sense, even if you're a part of like a large, that's like why girls want to be like playmates, like Playboy
Yes,
bunnies.
exactly. They don't want to be the Bond girl character. They want to be a Bond girl.
And-
They want the actress wants to be a Bond girl.
And even having that title,
Yeah.
even if there are many women with it, it's still
Yeah.
a signifier of your beauty. So
They,
that's
Well, I
know,
get why an actress would want to be a Bond girl, but like if this were a real story, I can't relate to that. Like I don't know.
see, I can.
Yes.
So me personally, yeah, that's Bond girl. That's very appealing to me. But being James Bond, hell no. Like,
Because
no
it's
way.
just like it's like on to the next. Like you can just be replaced. So I don't know. I'm trying to
but the
think of
thing is,
what would be
they
like
got
an
rid of
analog
the,
for women.
They got rid of the Bond girl title in-house during the production of the James Craig of the Daniel Craig Bond movies, because they said it was sexist to call them Bond girls, because Hollywood is full of miserable people who don't want to have fun. And a lot of the older Bond girls came out and said, why would you get rid of that? That's stupid, because they didn't understand it, because they were part of an age where feminism was just different than it is now.
Yeah.
When it wasn't about homogenizing everything and letting men win everything by either becoming women or beating women in sports, and then making the women want to take second-rate versions of their characters that nobody wants or cares about. But for me, like, there were plenty of interesting James Bond characters that were women, like the Vesper Lynd one from the Daniel Craig, the Vesper Lynd character from the Daniel Craig Bond movies was great. I would argue that there was actually somebody argued with me for a while on Twitter that they said that the feminism started creeping in during GoldenEye when Natalia has to help him beat Trevelyan at the end. And I said, like, if that's true, we were at a time back then where she wasn't doing the fighting. Mm-hmm. She was doing computer stuff. There is a cringy scene where he gives her a gun and she like releases the magazine and then like shows that she knows how to cock the weapon. And that's the most you can say is like at that time that would have been considered very like.
Is it?
Yeah, like at the time that was very like, good job. She's a woman. She knows what she's doing. But nowadays it would never be something like that. It would be over the top. She would have to be every bit the fighter that he is, and we all know that that's not the case in the real world. And there's a $20 one there from Johnny Beck.
Thank you, Johnny Beck.
It says woot. I haven't heard that one in a while.
That's it.
Has anybody heard the term woot in a while?
No.
It's been a very long time. But you're right. The Bond girls were every bit the sex symbols that Playmates were.
They were, absolutely.
They got magazine covers. They went to these premieres. All of the old, if you go and look up all of the old press photos of James Bond actors at the movie premieres, right? he would pose with the two women, and that was always something that was considered very important to the lore.
And it's iconic and it's historical at this point too. So yeah, just the switching of genders, it's so like corrupting this history that's like, I don't know, really important. And
what would you do for women to, like, obviously they want to keep doing this, right? They want to make the spy movies because big budget movies are what people go to see and people spend a lot of money on. You could argue that romantic comedies where women put their best foot forward in cinema, right? But there isn't really a large market these days, seemingly so, for romantic comedies. Where, like, how do we tell stories if we want to be fair to women, if we want to be equitable to women, but not just give them the sloppy seconds of male characters? How would we incorporate female stories in a way that everyone would want to go and see?
I think finding it for everyone is the issue, but I feel like an example is like Sofia Coppola movies are like perfect for women. So if you look at the list of movies she's made, those have always been female centric and appealing to women at the same time and genuine. But finding like a blockbuster, I don't know, like something corny like the Twilight movies, I guess women.
I think Hunger Games would probably be closer to.
That's even still more of a children's and teens franchise.
And what's interesting about what you said is, like, look, the Sofia Coppola movies might appeal solely or mostly to women, but a woman will go watch a James Bond movie because the male fantasy is to do the saving, the female fantasy is to be the one that gets saved. So it actually has universal appeal in a way that a lot of movies that solely appeal to women don't have.
Yeah.
You could say romantic comedies would be the ones that, at the very least, the guy might get dragged to the movie to go watch it, but he at least can identify with the story being told because love is a universal concept.
Yeah, and I think that just a fact is that women will kind of concede and agree to go to something their boyfriend or husband wants to, but a lot of men won't really go to something their wife.
Oh, I think it's the other way around.
So? I don't know.
Or at the very least, I think that's an equitable. I think that's both. I think men and women both concede. There's a whole joke around the idea of men getting dragged to romantic comedies or men having to sit through chick flicks with women because they just want to go home with them afterwards. That's a thing. That's a thing. Hey, don't say it wasn't me that said it. It was the rest of the world that said it, not me. But now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever been to like most of the movies that I ever went to with girls that I was dating were either like big budget blockbuster stuff, or if it was a romantic comedy, I definitely rolled my eyes and went along, but was like, ugh.
Like which ones?
Now I wouldn't even be able to think off the top of my head. Maybe The Proposal back in the day.
Okay.
Maybe but it's been a long time. So
back when rom-coms were in theaters.
Yeah. Oh, they're mentioning 50 Shades of Grey. I think did any men
that's
go see?
That's not a rom-com.
Did any men go see 50 Shades of Grey?
I think
that's just
I hope
women
not.
porn.
But I do think some men probably went to go see it.
We're just gonna go sit for 2 to 3 hours while you fantasize about some other dude.
Yep.
Who doesn't exist.
Maybe the women don't drag the boyfriends to go see chick flicks, but I think wives.
I think
wives drag their husbands to go see chick flicks.
Soon to be ex-husbands.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't take this for much longer.
But I thought the 50 Shades was just for the divorcees.
Yeah, I mean that's what it seemed like to me too, is who that clientele was. I mean, I don't know.
Busted Cap says Brett enjoyed 50 First Dates. Look, I don't even remember if that's exactly what I said. I think I was actually drawing a comparison to another movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. My favorite romantic comedy is 10 Things I Hate About You. That's my favorite romantic comedy of all time. If you could even call it that, because it's a high school, it's kind of also a coming of age movie as well. So, look, I think James Bond needs to stay firmly in the zone of being men. And Barbara Broccoli has said that they're never going to make Bond a female. That's never going to happen. Whether that actually holds true or she sticks to that, I don't know. But the idea is, I still call it the big ask. They're like, look, we won't make him a female, but that means that they can do whatever the hell else they want to it. That way they're like, well, at least it's not a chick.
They can make him.
They're gonna race swap him.
trans.
I guarantee you, they end up race swapping him. I still think Reggae Jean Page ends up taking that role.
I don't
in the
want
next
that to
one.
happen.
I get why people don't want that to happen. It doesn't bother me as long as they don't draw it into the story. But Regé-Jean Page is a pretty big actor out there right now. But there was a couple of examples people gave recently about actors that would have been good Bonds that had completely, because Aaron Taylor Johnson's the one that keeps getting floated, I think, the most.
Wait, didn't we
talked about that last time.
Yeah, we talked about Aaron Taylor Johnson and his geriatric.
We haven't talked about that in a long, because they've said that they're not going to cast it.
Geriatric women, we have a cringe of the day.
Oh man,
and it's really bad.
Do you think there's actually such a thing as Madonna clips that aren't cringe of the day?
Not anymore.
I don't think so either.
She was on Jimmy Fallon, making a
Is there
horribly humiliating display.
Here we go. Well, they're all horribly humiliating displays from her these days. Okay, I'm muting that. I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm.
Ew.
What are you doing?
Ring, ring, ring goes the telephone. The lights are on, but there's no one home.
We're getting copyright struck for that
She showed
one.
her.
We are getting copyright struck for that one. Did you see the rings?
The end was just unnecessary.
Yeah, we got
I
a
mean, it was all
flash.
unnecessary, but that was like really uncalled for.
That is going to be burned into my image, into my brain for a while, and frankly, I'm not okay.
Also,
with it.
like her butt is 100% filler.
Oh yeah, and okay, I'm going to defend her a little bit.
Okay.
Go for it.
I think she looks good. I know everybody's saying she looks bad. I think she does look very good.
But that's
For being
In this
64.
video, it's not that bad.
not
In a
about
lot
what
of
she looks
other
like, it's about
images,
the
it looks
de-
really bad.
But I think a lot of people would look very bad with harsh lighting, especially.
But she's in
at that age.
studio lighting. If anything, the lighting should be complimenting her right now.
Yeah, so I think she does look good here, and I think in the other ones it's kind of tough, and I think that she's living her best life. But this is very cringe. This is a little bit too much.
Someone like commented she became used to all of the attention from men when she was younger, and now that she's old and they're not interested anymore, she acts out to get attention.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat says Gilf Manor.
Yeah, there we go.
Gilf Island.
No,
Yeah.
Gilf Island.
please no.
That's that's like we're like 10 years away from Gilf Island. That's like
Oh, it's
if
gonna
what?
be
How
soon.
long was it between 30 Rock and MILF Manor? Like we're gonna be at Gilf Island by 2035. I guarantee you.
What was Jimmy Fallon's reaction here?
He looks like he tries to put a coat around. Him.
Yeah,
He's like,
trying to
please
cover
stop.
her
Like,
up.
He's like, I don't want to lose my
she
advertisers.
is breaking FCC guidelines
Violations.
Yeah.
for sure.
So I heard a really amazing take, which I agree with, and it was I can't remember who said it, but it wasn't. I didn't come up.
It's all right.
I didn't come up with this, but they said that Madonna, for her like weird revival at this age, she should be going on Red Scare. She should be going on like online shows.
Yeah.
That I think that would be a better audience than like a Jimmy Fallon or like something too. I think that right now she would be flourishing if she was appealing to like the alt like online
Well, she
girl
tries
community.
to like make TikToks and be trendy like that, like follow TikTok trends, and it's just cringy every
Yeah.
time that she tries.
She's like on there saying bet and like it's giving and like I'm trying to picture her doing
Mother
a bunch of
and
Gen
stuff.
Z a bunch of Gen Z
This was
speak.
not giving.
Yeah, it was
anything
not giving.
at all.
All right. Also, guys, I do want to mention this very quickly. PETA wants to make sure that Good Burger 2 features vegan burgers.
I was
there is going to
confused
be
'cause I was
a
like, Good Burger isn't real.
no, but they want the movie to feature vegan burgers. So you know.
Also, wasn't Good Burger in all that?
yes,
And you were like dissing all that the other day.
I wasn't. I just said I never watched it. I just said I never watched it. But that's it was born out
It's
of that era.
essential for 90s content.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to get started. So, Blac Chyna, who we just discussed the other day, that's got to be the most we've talked about her other than she was in the lawsuit with.
Yeah, so she was in that lawsuit with Rob Kardashian, which involved like his allegations of domestic violence against her. But earlier this week, we were talking about her because she revealed that she is going she's having a what they call a make under.
Yes.
Okay, rather than a makeover. She is reversing the effects of all of her cosmetic procedures that she's gotten over the years.
Is make under an actual term?
I mean, I've heard of it now.
Okay.
Like, apparently it is. So she's like gotten all of this silicone lipoed out of her body that she's had injected in her butt over the years. I think she said she's removing her breast implants as well. She's getting her filler in her face dissolved, and it's gonna be a really dramatic change. She said she started getting these when she was like 19, and I'm sure like she has like lip fillers as well, all sorts of different things done over the years. So she's reversing all of that. She wants to go natural. And now we believe it might be connected to her religious awakening.
And I urge any and all conservatives to not like jump on the bandwagon and start searching for validation from celebrities who start
base
being like
Blac Chyna.
Oh my goodness, I'm becoming
Is she one of
religious."
us?
Like it's like there's somebody needs to make like a funny graph where it's like days since announcing religious rebirth, and then like days till Tucker Carlson appearance.
Literally,
and we can literally
Blac
like,
Chyna is about to go on Tucker.
How
I'm here for
long until
this.
he's like how long until he makes the face when she's explaining?
Tuckers.
Yeah, like when she's like, he's like, tell us about like all of the times that you've had to get plastic surgery, and then she's talking about the horrors of plastic surgery, and he just has to sit there and make the face the whole time. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Politics and society, culture are not team sports, and I beg of you to not look to these vapid celebrities for any type of affirmation about your way of life, because even if they pay lip service to the way you see the world, they don't live in the same world that you or I
don't
do.
necessarily think Blac Chyna's religious conversion is not sincere on an individual basis.
No, I'm not even saying
so
that.
she got a baptism on her birthday last year in May, and she said that this was like a big turning point moment for her. Now she's going by her birth name, which is not Blac Chyna, believe it or not.
That's crazy.
It's Angela White.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really see her as an Angela. I see her as Blac
It's gonna be
Chyna
rough
still.
because there's definitely a porn star named
So
Angela.
I guess we're just dead naming her now.
There you go.
She's gonna now all her search results are gonna get mixed up with the porn star
So
Angela
it's
White.
the same
She's screwed.
difference.
She's-
Sucks.
It's all ends up back in the same place. It's a rough life for them.
And now she is quitting OnlyFans. She says she made $2 million in 2 years on there.
$20 one.
Nate Parrott said, "Why can't women be badass like anime girls? They can punch an enemy through a wall with great strength, but still be feminine and likable. Not see you next Tuesday like Western women."
Because the way it's written is written by people who don't actually know how to interact with other human beings, nor do they understand how men and women correctly interact together in healthy ways. And the scripts they're writing don't display actual things that happen in the real world anyway. The example I always give is like for every pound a girl is under 90 pounds is another Navy SEAL she can beat up. That's not the real world.
Yeah.
Hollywood does not depict the real world. Why would you assume they would be able to depict the real world in strong, independent women
And
either?
off of that, I do think a good example would be Tarantino movies. Like
Yeah.
if you look at a Kill Bill, I think that
That's a good
obviously it's
example.
very dramatic, but her motivations, they're still based in her being a mother, so it connects like the feminine nature with being a badass, and that's why his movies are unique. So I think someone like him,
They used to be able to do that in Hollywood.
They-
They
Well,
would
There
give
is an
female-
action film coming out on Netflix called wasn't it just The Mother
Yeah.
with
Also,
Jennifer Lopez?
there was
where
Peppermint.
It's the same type of concept.
Yeah, Peppermint in 2018 was basically the Taken movies, or it was basically John Wick, but it's a mom who loses her husband and daughter, or husband and son, if I remember correctly. So yeah.
But anyway, back on topic.
Sorry.
She said she made $2 million in 2 years.
That's good.
It's not. I mean,
Take your money
it's
and run.
definitely not bad money.
Get
but
your bag, queen.
you know,
For being
you
that
have to
famous.
decide whether you think that's worth it.
her baby daddy is a Kardashian. Like if you really
Yeah.
think about it, so like that's where it's a little bit okay.
Well, it's confusing. Like, how much is she getting in like alimony and child support from Rob Kardashian?
Because where is Rob? That's a good question. Where in the world is Rob Kardashian?
They were like on trial, right, last year, and we talked about that then. He said that she like whipped him with cables and like all of this other crazy stuff. That she was violent and abusive, and
Maybe Jesus will help her stop being violent and
maybe
abusive.
she's had a literal come to Jesus moment where she's evaluated her actions. I don't know, but I can't really get that out of my head with everything that's being covered about her recently. And if it were a man, it would be getting rehashed in the beginning of every single article. You know,
what would
True.
Blac Chyna got? Would Blac Chyna got the guy just be China spelled with an I, not with a Y? Like, is that what Blac Chyna, the male name version, is? Like, it would all start with like, and he was known for beating his girlfriend with a cord.
yeah. I mean, they would rehash it and Me Too the hell out of this story if Blac Chyna were male. Like, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
But we asked you guys a question, and it was like, do you think becoming religious is becoming a trend?
Shall we end the
In
poll?
Hollywood, I guess, is the real question.
Yeah. So the poll says with 40% of the answer, they say no. No, never mind. 39% say not sure. 32% say yes, and 27% say no.
Okay.
I think that for
We're
a
really
lot of them,
mixed.
in the next 5 to 10 years, the more industrious of the managers and the people that understand that these people don't oftentimes hold the beliefs that they espouse in these shows, in interviews, they're talking heads. They really are talking heads who say they did it 20 years ago when they paid lip service to Christian conservatism in their interviews, and obviously before that
Sort
as
of like
well.
Taylor Swift
Yeah, they will pay lip
before.
service to whatever pays their paychecks. And eventually what will happen is the best of the managers will explain to these stars that, look, your career's been lagging for a while. It's time to make a comeback. It's time to make a rebrand. And they will take your belief system, your views of the world, everything you hold dear, and they will turn it into a chameleon-like cover in which they can rebrand their career as being this or that. And I think that that's what will happen to a lot of them.
And I think branching off into like non-celebrity world, I mean, we can tie this in that she does OnlyFans and,
Yeah.
you know, I think that a lot of girls are going to have this. And it seems like because Christianity is so open and they have that, like, you know, you can get baptized and it's like you can start over. I think that we're going to see this too from women who are retiring out of that type of really extreme sexual content or whatever they're
They're
doing.
going to have to find another
They have
way
to have a
rebrand.
revival.
Yeah.
Yeah, have to have a revival, or at least on their conscience say, oh, okay, I'm changing, and this is a signifier of it that people recognize, which is Christianity. And so I think that that's going to
Yeah.
be a way to kind of get out of that OnlyFans.
What would
way.
be the other way? If you're an OnlyFans girl who spends however many years making as much money as you do on there,
The
and
only
you
other
realize
way-
that you have to rebrand, that you can't do that anymore, where do you go? Like, if not religion, where do you go?
You denounce it. I mean, or they go into the
They get a book deal.
They
and
get a
write
book deal, they say,
Say
oh, this is
the
abusive.
industry hurt me.
The industry,
That's
the
what
men
it
in
is.
the
It's a
industry.
victimhood narrative.
Yeah.
How do
You
they
either
do that when they
choose to
work on their own? If they're-
Continue doing OF and be in like cognitive dissonance land where you pretend nothing is wrong.
Yeah.
Or you say the industry hurt me and I'm a victim somehow and this wasn't my choice.
The
or third,
tripod
you
itself.
actually take accountability and perhaps turn to religion because it's like the only saving grace you have.
But here's the problem. I don't see a way for Western society, as heavily involved as it is with feminism now, I don't see a way for there to be a narrative for a lot of these people to get out of it without it being religious. Like, they won't just get out of it because sex work is bad. They will get out of it because they found religion and sex work is bad.
And especially-
because
yeah.
saying otherwise would be to say that sex work is bad, and they won't want to say that because the younger generation of women who are still looking to work in that field will call them anti-feminist.
Exactly. No, that's a really great point. And the fact that OnlyFans is more independent, you can't necessarily say it's like how the PORN industry was back in the day, where you had an agent and that they were all men. Now it's all you.
Yeah.
You know, the men are supporting you, but it's all you deciding to do it and going into
Yeah.
it. So you don't need this evil man pushing you into
Actually,
this.
I can't wait to start seeing all of the ways they twist, like literally choosing on their own to go do OnlyFans
Well,
and how they're
Blac
going to be
Chyna is
victimized.
saying that she's kind of implying she did this because of financial desperation. She said, I'm not doing OnlyFans anymore. I'm kind of past that. It's one of those things where I did what I needed to do at that moment because of the circumstances I was in. Besides, with me being baptized, that's just not what God will want me to do. It's kind of degrading. So it takes some honesty to admit that that is a degrading thing to do.
But are
But
there
like, she's implying she did this because she had to out of
Yeah.
survival.
But when will they understand? Like, who will be the ones that admit that it's degrading without having God to be part of that? Like, it is degrading, but is it
But
degrading?
you don't have a reason for saying that if you don't have religion, right?
That's what I'm asking you. I'm saying, is it degrade? Like, can they find a way to rationalize or explain what's degrading about it without using the religious context?
I don't think so, but what do you think?
I think you can, but it's not as easy. And there's a lot more
Very difficult.
So it's a lot easier if you pin it on Christianity. No one can really criticize that because it's your religious beliefs, and those are like, you know, established already. So I think it's just the easiest way to do it. But I think you could make a non-religious argument against OnlyFans or against doing that, but it's just not as easy. And there's more debate that would be had with it.
Because like for me, look, you can make that argument. You can make the non-religious argument against the porn industry because of trafficking, because of subjugation, enforced, all the things that have come out in the past that do that involve physical force from another person. So like as somebody like me who as a not a big L libertarian, but with libertarian principles, would say like, look, if somebody's forcing you to do something that is inherently bad, that is inherently wrong, how do you make that argument for something where you made the choice to do it? I think that the critical theorist approach would be to say society has subjugated women at every level and it was the only option they had. They couldn't go work at Starbucks. They had to make an OnlyFans. How else were they going to survive? And there are people that will be dumb enough to buy that.
Yeah, the income thing is really interesting to me too. I mean, because if you look at the numbers on OnlyFans specifically, it's only the top 1%. It's literally a pyramid scheme.
It's like less than the top 1%.
Less than 1% that are actually making significant money that would say, oh, this is better than having a normal job. So the money argument only really factors in if you are highly successful and what are the chances of becoming highly successful in there.
Joining OnlyFans for women is being a SoundCloud rapper for men. Remember that.
Well, the only reason that Blac Chyna made any money on OnlyFans is because she had an existing established identity. She's like a video vixen or whatever.
Yeah.
She was like Nicki Minaj's stunt double
In Monster, yeah.
And she has ties to other famous people. But if you're just a total nobody, you might be convinced watching this big celebrity make millions of dollars to try it out yourself.
Yeah, my push was like, I said, look, it's good for the culture for us to talk about it and encourage her like that she's found this new path. But I'm just saying, don't tie your identity to these celebrities. Just don't, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Do not let Tucker Carlson talk to this woman and make her some conservative spokesperson. It's stupid. There's a $20 one from Steve Ryman.
Oh, Steve Ryman said, Cynic's interjection, chances are she saw dropping OF revenue, which led to her epiphany regarding it being degrading. Funny how they don't tap out at the top of their game. Then you can rebrand yourself and grift again.
I mean, is it like if she believes?
Pretty true.
I don't know if I call her selling herself like. Is that even the context of the word grift?
Well,
like,
we might need to wait. She might end up creating a product.
Yes.
She might start selling something and somehow tied to her new
The new-
Become
the
a
new thing would be
naturopathic guru influencer.
The new stuff might be a grift. I don't know. I would buy that who she was before would have been just as much who she was then.
I mean, I would still
but I don't
prefer this, even if it's cynical, over
Yeah.
Iggy Azalea getting into a scrappy fight with Isabella Riley on Twitter, defending her OF, saying, your husband should subscribe, all of this disgusting stuff, claiming, it's even better that she can be on OnlyFans and be a mother at the same time, which has consequences. I'm sure
Well, that we're not even going to know the consequences of that for at least the next however many years when these kids start hitting.
Exactly.
There's already examples of that of kids that whose parents worked in the industry who then have to live it down. But now there's going to be so much more widespread. And honestly, it's almost even worse too, because like for the kids whose parents did it and made a lot of money, that's one thing. But for a kid whose mom just made like nothing off of it and just.
And it's so easy to find. Like I remember when I was in even like middle school. Oh, you can find it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Sorry.
I don't.
Oh wow.
She didn't freak out. She freaked out.
I didn't.
She was. You were more freaked out by the first money.
I love
that. Cute. Is it still weird hearing your voice?
A little bit.
In that? Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
So I remember like when so different, but you could find like teachers' Facebook profiles, but now imagine you can find any kid's mom. You can find anything online, so it's going to be so easy for kids to bully in the next 5 to 10 years with kids who are in middle school, and especially if they're a boy.
But don't you know people should just be taught not to bully?
Yeah, there we go.
Solve all of those problems.
Yeah.
We just found out like a solution.
It used to be jokes about about how it would be like actual jokes about like doing someone's mom. Now it's gonna be like I just subscribed to your mom's OnlyFans. That's all they're gonna have to say.
Tell your mom she should do more request videos.
Yeah. Tell her to answer my request.
Answer my requests.
Custom video, please.
Yeah.
It's oh man. Oh, all right. Let's just go to Super Chats. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we managed to get through that whole topic without being overtly preachy and just kind of evaluating it on what it was.
I'm always
so.
okay with being preachy.
Well, you know.
Corn Pop said sneak peek, and then he sent a sleeping emoji.
What's up with that, dude?
I don't know what's
up
going
with
on
that?
with Corn Pop these days. Dash Fortune said, if our social breakdown has resulted in more seeking sanity through the love of God, then at least something wholesome has come of it. Do the ends justify the means? Hard to say. Cheers, everyone.
I have a hard time with the ends justifying the means argument, because that seems to be a leftist perspective that they embrace thoroughly. That it doesn't matter what bad you do, because you have a wholehearted belief that what you're doing is right, and that your goals, all that you know is all there is, and therefore any harm you cause upon another person is okay. I'm not okay with that.
Wait, in regard to
With
what?
anything that we're talking about here.
I thought this was talking about Blac Chyna.
In any of it, but I'm saying that, like, look, ends justifying means. I don't know if I buy it going the other way, because you could make the argument, like, is it good if she doesn't believe any of this and she's selling it as a product? I could understand the argument that, like any good positive representation in society is a good thing, but there would probably be people that would say it's not good for her to falsely portray herself to the world a certain way if she's not.
She was doing the same thing when she was on OnlyFans, though.
How is, I mean, if she's inherently, like, promiscuous and she's inherently
No one
deviant,
is inherently a deviant.
I don't know if I buy that.
You're just born that way? That's insane.
Okay, then it's a learned behavior. It's who she is at this time, right?
Okay,
so,
and people can change.
And I would hope so too. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the ends justifying means. I don't know if I want somebody to portray something that's not who they actually are. I understand the argument that it's a good thing, that it's understandable to believe that it's a good thing if it's values you believe in. And yeah, sure, they might not believe in it, but as long as somebody who watches that person gets something from it and then they've come to faith wholeheartedly, that's a good thing, right? Somebody's come to faith through the false faith of somebody else.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't really care. I mean, I just see it like, I'm just going to look at it as we can talk about it, but I think on surface value, I would say this is a good thing. And I think, like, reading into the attentions of any celebrity like this, like, I mean, they're fickle, and I just don't think they're genuine.
And it will
anyway,
change, it will change
doesn't really
in 2 months
matter.
with whatever the next trend
Exactly.
is.
Yeah, and if,
but
like,
it affects it affects people, and I think that's we should just take it at face value, because people are going to be reading it at face value.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean, and taking it in earnest. So that's kind of how I see it. I don't know if I can really speak on
Just never trust
her
the
moral.
celebrities.
Yeah, like.
And if this is, like, controversial, I don't know, but if getting baptized and talking about Jesus is something that is seen as cool to do on social media now, genuine or not, it's probably a good thing in my book.
I agree.
Savrik said, we must be aware not to let our boundaries of perception to become barriers of perception that cannot be moved or modified willingly. Rogue information can profane the intellect. P.S. Damn, she's pretty.
That was quite a compliment after quite an intellectual statement.
For me?
For you.
Thank you.
I have no idea what your super chat is referring to, honestly.
But I will pretend I do, so
But
that
I'll
I feel
pretend-
so that I feel more
Thank you.
intelligent.
Yeah.
I feel like Ian sent that one. That was
or
definitely an
we-
Ian thought.
Maybe we could save it and get him to decipher it
Yeah.
later. Like, only Ian's brain could figure that one out.
R.S. Daggerchaff said, I'd be willing to see a 008 or 009 movie. It expands the Bond movie universe. Not everything needs to be a universe. I'm so
Plus,
sick of this.
let's face it, they're not going to give them a movie. They're going to give them a crappy TV show with 8
Ugh.
episodes that will get mini budget and
And then it'll get canceled after a season.
and then I'll have to read articles later from GLAAD and the International Women's Foundation about how it's bad for representation to cancel crappy shows made about crappy second-rate spies that aren't even part of the original material. Kick rocks. Get rid of them.
Bragg Duvier said, hey, Hollywood, I got an idea. Make a new female spy or a movie based on a real-life female spy. Stop trying to change established characters.
Look, they did Alias like 20 years ago, and Alias was fantastic. Another Jennifer Garner production, by the way. Also before like Bad Robot and all of the J.J. Abrams stuff kind of went off the rails. He was good when he was making original stuff, not when he was copying Star Trek or Star Wars or trying to get involved with that. Everyone who hasn't seen, and I very rarely make this suggestion, I mention Buffy a lot when I talk about feminism done right in television with those types of characters. Alias is another example of feminism done right with a character. She's every bit as vulnerable as you would expect or want a female character to be in these situations. It works under the premise that her father is also a spy. Nowadays, they'd make her mom a strong, independent woman spy, which isn't realistic, and most people wouldn't buy. It would come off as fake and bullshit. Go watch Alias. I believe it's on Hulu.
Disco Jensen said, going to watch The Ten Commandments and The Passion of the Christ back to back to be reminded of better times in cinema when religion wasn't taboo. I mean, it was even taboo when The Passion of the Christ
Mel Gibson
was made. I mean, they knew that at the time.
I'd point out he called Jim Caviezel when he asked him to make the movie and said, "Would you like to ruin your career with me?" Yeah. Because he knew that
Even
making
back
that
then.
movie was...
Yeah.
And I think Jim Caviezel got struck by lightning twice while making that movie.
Yeah, there
That's
were some crazy things that happened on that set. I need to look into that more, going down that rabbit hole.
There was a bunch of stuff that happened to him on set. Oh, like when he was getting lashed, the thing that was supposed to be protecting him fell off, so he got actually lashed.
No.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. Jim Caviezel is another one who's
and we have Will Smith being like, they couldn't find the keys for my chains, and I had a flashback from my ancestors.
Jim Caviezel's a very religious and conservative actor who's still he's had to kind of be relegated to works that are either in that sector, because
now he's been replaced by Jonathan Rumi.
Yeah. Yep.
Porco Rosso Forever said, finding religion seems to mean less every year.
Think so? You think that's true?
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Maybe
if
in the
she
context
means
of
it or not.
Hollywood, it does.
It's about the net positive or net negative of it.
Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back.
Okay.
All right, guys, we are going to move on. So if you don't know who Maren Morris is, I don't blame you. She is a country-ish singer.
She's sort of like Casey Musgraves in that, she started off as this country singer that's mainstream, and then they start slowly but surely veering off into voicing a bunch of leftist talking points to gain popularity with the girls and the gays. And then they just end up having no fans.
Yeah.
And I mean, Casey Musgraves is basically a pop star now anyway, who started in country, much like Taylor Swift. But Maren Morris at a concert recently did a speech about how she has introduced her toddler son to drag queens. And it really weirded me out.
Literally to own the conservatives.
Literally, yes, to own the conservatives. She was in Tennessee and she said, Tennessee, effing arrest me. How about we just play this video of her speech and then we'll react to it.
Is it in the same? Is it in the same video? Is it in the Breitbart article?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. At the bottom?
No.
Like
I don't
the
see.
first, go up to
Oh,
the
there
top.
it is. All right, I got it. Here we go.
Hang up late on a weeknight. I'm Maren. I'm such an honor to be here. I don't even really know what's illegal or legal anymore with these bills. Like, I don't even think they know.
It's actually what she's doing is proving that they don't actually know what they're talking
He's
about.
turning 3 this week, and we got to go in the room where all the queens are ready and doing their makeup, and he freaked out when he went there
because they're
it's just
scary.
magic what drag
Because
queens
they're
do. There's
scary
just,
looking.
Wigs everywhere, the smell of hairspray
Cocaine
and wig glue. There's glitter. Everyone's in a good mood. They're so excited to be
They're
here tonight
kikiing.
for this show. It's just like a room of love. Moved back to my dressing room, and my son is like, "Need the queen."
And then he said that Donald Trump was an existential threat to democracy. And then my mom was like,
You're looking at her, but okay. No.
nah,
I wanted to do this song here tonight. I wrote it a couple years ago for my son after George murder.
This is like,
it felt like
what
a
are you
little
talking
on the
about?
outs
Yeah,
to
What?
George
tonight, but
Floyd?
then my son meet all of the lovely people here today backstage. Growing up here in Nashville, and I just world for him a little bit better than the one right now. And And I feel like nights like tonight help do that.
Thank you for paying all that money to make me feel like I'm loved in the room today. I love that.
Well, I guess this was like a pride event.
Okay.
So that's why there are a bunch of drag queens there. She brought her soon-to-be 3-year-old into the dressing room where there all of these drag queens, I suppose, getting like dressed or undressed.
Hopefully
And
fully dressed. I'm assuming.
I don't know though. It's a dressing room.
They probably have padding on. I mean, I doubt they'd be fully
You've
ready.
seen RuPaul's Drag Race, right?
So I'm coming here. I've seen most seasons of
Me
RuPaul's
too.
Drag Race. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So the thing is, when like the RuPaul or whatever Drag Race universe, they want to incorporate children and they make it like this love thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's you cannot do it because the show is based in sex. Like
Yeah.
it's literally
Well, all
based in
of
their
drag,
sexual.
yeah.
All of drag is, but especially because the show is the main cornerstone of drag culture. It is RuPaul's Drag Race. Like RuPaul has completely commercialized it and made it associated with him in the show and his conventions and all of that. So it's all about gay sex. And so how there's no possible way where you can incorporate children into that, even if they try rebranding. It's like, no, every part of the show, every part of a drag performance, nearly all of it is based in dirty jokes, provocative dancing, provocative looks, exploiting of a very sexualized female body. So there's no place for children, even if you are a drag fan, there's no place for a child, especially a 3-year-old child, to be a part of that at all. And trying to make drag queens is like cornerstone of acceptability and showing how gay people can be integrated in normal society. It's like, no, like that is way different than like a straight couple who are married kissing each other. Like, no, this is extremely sexual and perverted to an extent, and we just make it entertainment.
And what's not talked about is like trying to divorce drag, if you want to call it like an art form, if that's something you like, trying to divorce drag from its subversive elements and its sexual elements essentially takes away its very essence. You're doing a disservice to the people that actually
Want to do it the way it was
built
meant to be
that
done.
LGBTQ history
Yes.
for, you know, it to even become mainstreamed by this TV show. So you're kind of, it's L's all around.
It's all around. And I would say most drag queens who are professional would want to separate themselves from children because it hurts their business. Like their shows aren't being, most of them are 18 or 21 plus. So it's not like there's kids going to the bar
the
unless
worst
they have
part-
these weird kid drag shows.
The
Or whatever.
worst part is when they get really excited about all the new money they make, but they find out that kids under 18 get in for free anyways. So then they're
And
So,
I think this is part of also a concerted effort to try to wokeify country music.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
it's
that's been
simply
going on for
not
a
going
while.
to work because if you know your base, they're not going to accept that. The fan base of country music, it's generally right-wing or at least libertarian-leaning people from heartland American areas, like rural areas, the South, even the Midwest too. And they don't agree with this shit. I mean, maybe some of them
Or
are
they
like
just
a
don't
little bit more
care.
accepting, but this is obviously taking it too far and you're alienating them on purpose. There are so many like pick-me country singers right now
well, they just want to be like
trying to
somebody
get
like
picked by the mainstream pop fans.
Maren Morris never sounded country, from what I've heard. of
Arguably
hers.
Taylor Swift never
Yeah.
did, or Casey
That's-
Musgraves
no,
never did.
Early
but like,
Taylor Swift sounded country.
No, her first album, but the thing is, Taylor did a great job at pandering to a country base because she was a sweet American country girl, and she only switched into the political thing in 2015, 2016. So that was
not
used to-
even then. Like she still like had many years to go before she like made all of those tweets about, you know,
She was
her,
pressured
like
into
state
it.
representatives and
Yeah.
stuff pandering again.
Yeah.
yeah.
If she did it before, she can do it again. I don't know how her fans don't know now that they're still being pandered to.
Yeah.
Just like her fans were when she first started out.
Exactly.
It's very obvious.
I think for the country singers also, like for something like that, they always plan to go pop, and they didn't expect to
Not
stay
all
in
of
the
them,
genre.
though. The
No, I'm
ones
saying
that
someone
plan to
like her.
stay in the genre, such as a hugely successful artist like Morgan Wallen,
Yeah, I think of
they
him.
get shit on.
But
'cause
even
then,
he branches
he's-
out. Even he branches out and
Well,
works
yeah.
with rappers.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, country music is not what it used to be,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other discussion. But like, he is hugely successful, and they keep trying to cancel him because, you know, oh, he said the N-word in this video or something years ago. Who cares? But like, just because he won't apologize and he won't kowtow and he won't try to, you know, conform to the same trend that Maren Morris is trying to conform to, then he's a target. And like, he's literally on Billboard top 10 charts, and he is not recognized as the success that he is just because he's not pop or rap.
Was it like Kodak Black that basically said stop bullying Morgan Wallen?
Literally, like
yeah, I don't know if it was Kodak Black, but it was somebody
normal
else.
people
Yeah.
don't care
They
about
don't
this
care.
shit.
And that's what's funny with her even doing this. It's like, even the people who are gay, are they really going to stand? I don't know. I never heard of this person before I saw this article, but most of them are going to tell that it's some random white. I mean, they're going to see it like this. It's a random white woman who's trying to pander to them.
Yeah.
And the genuine like gays or whoever is involved in that, they're listening to hyperpop. They're not going to be listening to country anyway.
The live,
Exactly.
the live, laugh, love is strong with Maren Morris's face. She looks like she's got live, laugh, love all over her house.
Well, remember when like Casey Musgraves made that music video where she had like a trans extra actor in it, and then like she just started doing all of these pandering things to try to bring like, I don't know, she's trying to like do the same thing Taylor Swift did.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift did it like very successfully, but I don't know, like it comes off as so artificial.
It really does. I can't stand this kind of pandering. And
Well, also, what the hell does her child have to do with George Floyd?
yeah, exactly.
What the hell?
I'm sure George
wrote
Floyd
a
loved drag queens. Like,
Okay, I'm trying to piece this together in my mind. I don't know what her son, like, who's the daddy or whatever, but maybe her son is like part black.
Let me Google it right now.
So
Actually.
she thought that for some reason she should write
Nope.
like a racial justice anthem to her half black son.
No, her husband is a white.
So
white
what
man.
does this have to do with her son?
She wants to make the world a better place in some vague I'm a vapid celebrity who doesn't actually contribute anything to Western society kind of way.
Meanwhile, her son is like, please change my diaper.
Like, luckily for me, I do not contribute anything amazing to society either, but I don't claim to, so I don't have to worry about this the way
Ew,
she does.
okay. I just hate this like apologetic stance that they want country artists to take. It says in January, Maren Morris used a guest appearance on RuPaul's Drag Race to apologize for what she called the country music industry's quote relationship with LGBTQ plus members. She said, coming from country music and its relationship with LGBTQ plus members, I just want to say, I'm sorry and I love you guys for making me feel like a brave voice in country music. So I just thank you guys, you gays, for inspiring me. I'm gonna cry.
My favorite part is
Like,
how
thank you for making me feel like I'm a good person without actually having to do anything virtuous or brave.
they also have like this air of just they're always really excited to talk about how strong they have to be and like how they have to like overcome
Stunning
like,
and brave.
a bunch of they love the idea of being subjugated, held down, and being told that they're bad people because they know that they feel that they're super great. They feel that they're amazing individuals who are on the right side of history. Therefore, when a bunch of people who make up far less of the population tell them they're wrong, they get excited about that because they get to let the media call everyone else a bully when they're just cry bullies themselves.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people like commenting on this speech, by the way, like saying you're alienating your own fans.
I mean, I don't know how much of her audience covers that. A more established country singer would definitely be alienating their own fans.
Is she not? I mean, I don't pay super close attention to the country music scene, but
I've never heard of
I've
it.
only heard of like
all
the big
country
ones
is
like
pop now.
Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen.
All that is pop is basically pop music anyways nowadays. It's all kind of just general pop music, and we're a long way off from Willie Nelson.
And as they become more pop or like rap adjacent as well, the viewpoints that these artists are allowed to espouse change.
Yeah.
Yep. And here's the thing, they'll win too because they never let up. They will continue to push. She will continue to push. All of these people who have a religious fervor about their belief system will continue to push, and they will continue to make inroads in every industry. I can already picture like the middle class 9 to 7 working class man who works 10 hours a day listening to country in his car talking. Well, he's probably like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. like in his car, like, what the hell is this crap? This isn't what I like. This isn't what I believe in. And they're going to get mad about it, but it won't matter because these people will continue to push forward
Yeah.
because they have a religious fervor about what they believe.
Specifically on kids and teens, and that's, you reproduce by indoctrinating them. Xernue, you sent me this article from Trixie Mattel's interview with Teen Vogue. So it's explicitly targeted at children.
So, okay.
Well, they're also pro-communist over there at Teen Vogue.
Yes. Okay. So I need to give another clarification. In 2019, I was at the RuPaul convention in LA. So I was there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got to see the crowd. It is all teenage girls. Like,
Yikes,
there's no genuine, maybe a few, but there's no like 35-year-old gay men who are. It's all like 11
That's
to
so
16-year-old girls who like really gravitate to this, which is kind of disturbing, but it's because I don't know what it is. I guess you could really get into it. But here, Trixie Mattel, who's probably the most famous drag queen at this point, except for RuPaul, is saying that we don't need more drag queens. You need to go into the law, go into the House of Representatives and the Senate, put your wig down and open the letter opener or whatever. So it's just going against these like GOP anti-drag, legislation that they're claiming and talking about all the time. So they're just like pushing drag queens as if that's like a class of people. Like, you need to
doing drag is a choice.
It's a hobby. It's like
it doesn't make you part of some like
it's a sexual
underclass with an immutable trait that then means you're like subjugated for having it. Like it's something you do by choice.
It's also funny too because it was very much always a subculture, in a very defined subculture that's now been pushed mainstream, and in a lot of ways probably causes some identity crisis amongst the ones that have been in that community the longest.
And that's the point of it, is that it's meant to be outside of society and be kind of bad and be kind of degenerate. And
how long ago was that you were at that convention?
It was 2019, beginning of 2019.
Okay, so and it's only probably gotten more prominent since then.
It definitely is. I mean, I haven't I haven't watched the show in a while, but I did watch it and whatever.
I watched it in 2019 too.
Oh
like,
yeah,
a lot of it.
so I'm definitely familiar.
It's because these are entertaining people.
It's funny and it's entertaining to
funny.
watch. Yeah, absolutely, and it's extreme. And I like watching the make. To me, I like watching the makeup and the outfits.
It's not for kids.
It's not for kids. It's baked and their sexuality, and it's very provocative. It's not like tame. Like, oh, it's just two men who love each other and get married. Like, no, it's all based in their sexual preferences. So
look up any drag queen lingo or innuendo that they use. It's all sexual.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the subculture is. That's what makes it a subculture in the first place. Mm-hmm. Another thing that Trixie Mattel said in this interview is, I mean, he basically blamed all child exploitation on religious people.
Of course.
And then said, not all shows are kids appropriate. I don't want children at my shows at all, but there shouldn't be a law about it. And my question is like, why not though? Because if your shows aren't kid appropriate and you don't want kids there, why would it harm you in any way
why does there need
for there to be an official legislation against that happening?
The laws at the very least, then it's up to them. If they're not going to enforce the laws, then they need to actually do their job and not let people in, and certainly don't host all age versions of it.
And we've seen how that goes south.
I would also love to know if the shows, is it any different? Is the all ages version all that different from the version?
We've seen video evidence that it's not.
They're doing like their typical like strip kind of like striptease type of like splits and that whole dance routine, which is entirely
in their
sexual.
underwear.
And and they're all they all have their underwear on, so it's
disturbing.
Yeah,
really it is. I see these videos and I think it's the awfuls in the background that are cheering it on.
It's performative. It's not even that they genuinely want their child. It's entirely performative. Like, look at me.
Them.
I'm a good white woman. Yeah. I support the gays. I'm supporting drag. I'm making sure my child isn't a racist bigot like all these other people. I'm creating a better new generation, whatever. So that's kind of the performative mentality, but it's just so phony. And
it's exactly what Maren Morris said. Mm-hmm. Thank you for making me feel like I'm brave.
Exactly.
You literally just said it out loud. Like, thank you for giving me this false feeling that I'm doing something virtuous and stunning and brave, when in reality I'm just conforming to the status quo.
Exactly.
It is unbelievably
affluent
fake.
white liberal females.
There we go.
Every single time.
If supporting drag queens because you think it makes you brave was a car, it would be an SUV that guzzles a lot of gas to bring groceries
Yeah.
home from the store. It's very, very annoying. It's very, very fake. But it's also like, I mean, it's a product of the West having, a lot of these people have no struggles. They have nothing to struggle with in their life. Therefore, they look for struggles elsewhere. And there's nothing worse now than, the only thing worse than activism is slacktivism. And I don't know if I buy her doing a concert as anything that's changing the world in any meaningful way, good or bad. Like, I'd actually say that she probably is changing the world for the worse. She's actually doing what she's portraying, right? Which is, she is pushing an ideology on the world slowly but surely. Like, all these things don't change overnight. But look how much the world has just changed just since 2016.
Yeah.
Like,
And
look-
like, where's her husband in all of this? Valid question.
He's probably
you
at
know?
home. He's
I
probably
was going to say, this is fatherless.
stay-at-home dad.
This is
Yeah.
fatherlessness.
Fluffing the pillows.
Yeah.
It's
Doing quaaludes like a 1950s housewife,
It's
burying
not,
his sorrows.
If it's not fatherless behavior, it's definitely husbandless behavior, or at least
Yeah.
it's
Keep an
it's-
eye on
it's
your
very
women.
beta husbandish
Beta.
behavior. So.
It is. So
Like yeah, because you know that he's not saying, well, you know, honey, maybe it's not a great idea if we let our 3-year-old child into the dressing room with a bunch of grown adults.
Or
if you've seen
pretend.
RuPaul's Drag Race, you see literally their dressing room process on the show.
They're naked.
covered in face powder that makes them look like ghosts. And they're like wearing this padding and all of this undergarment
Tights.
stuff, their tights and everything. They look like bizarre.
Yeah.
And this is supposedly what a 2-year-old is seeing. And she's like, oh, he was so like blown away by it. Like, no, he was terrified. They look scary to any child who doesn't understand what's going on.
The kid's just like, can I go watch Coco Melon?
Yeah.
Give me my iPad. I want to leave this reality.
Like there's like the skit should be like her, like, we've got Coco Melon in this room, honey, come with me. And the kid's
Coco
like,
Melon
I
in
would
the
love
other
to
room.
go watch Coco Melon, and like they go in there's no Coco Melon, just drag queens.
God, and what are they going to say? Like, they're obviously not very nurturing people because they're grown-up gay men. So what are they going to do with a little kid there in their dress? Like, it just
No, they just like
bizarre.
scream at each other and do ketamine. Like, I don't know what the compatibility is there.
Have a
Are we gonna
child
have
there.
like the RuPaul's Drag Race and Coco Melon crossover? We
There
didn't know
is.
we needed.
There's a kids drag cartoon if you didn't know that.
There
There's literally,
is?
yes, there's a drag.
Where is this?
I'm gonna Google it right now.
What is it called? What?
I'm looking it up right now. No, it exists.
Not on the Wi-Fi.
Oh no.
It's called Super Drags, and then there's Drag Tots.
You're kidding.
Yes. Wait, the
We
Drag
are
Tots.
Drag tots.
We are so screwed.
Guys, I'm getting the deets right now. Yeah.
The West is
Baby
so
drag
screwed.
queens learn all things drag, voiced by some of your favorite drag queens, including Adore Delano, Bianca Del Rio, Detox, blah blah blah. And it's for
Great.
this. It says Drag Tots is for kids of all ages. It follows the misadventures of a group of little drag queen school pals.
Yep. We're screwed. The West is screwed. Well, this is the thing. They've implemented this stuff they're in the media companies, they're in the entertainment companies. It's being pushed on children. And then they say, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory." No, it's not.
Drag Tots. Yeah.
Yeah, they say like, you know, you're just cherry picking. This stuff doesn't happen. It
No,
does.
and I mean, I hear that. I hear that from time to time. Where they're like, you're overdoing it, you're overblowing it, and it's like, well, I don't know. What it is. All right, Mary, we got some super chats there.
Corn Pop said mood.
Oh, well, thank
Not
you.
sure what that means. DJ Medeiros said, hello from Bend, Oregon, home of the last Blockbuster store on Earth. If the franchise comes back, do we get to be the corporate headquarters?
Well, you know what? I had the article pulled up, and what was funny about this, they had a tweet a month ago that joked about reopening. It says, new business idea. We're going to come back as a bank and use VHS and DVDs as currency. Time to go visit your mom. That was the tweet. And like then they were joking about like, could it be like an NFT, like a Blockbuster NFT that you never return the video? But it says the Blockbuster website is alive, and it says one person said, seeing the Blockbuster chain back would bring back memories from my past Friday night at middle school. I think they could do it. I think like just do like rent out like they rent out Spirit Halloweens, but make them pop-ups someplace, but then you have to buy them. You just can't because there's no place to return it to because it's a pop-up. So you gotta buy the movies there.
But they also have to sell the DVD. I don't know anyone with a DVD player. Who has a DVD player? I haven't had a DVD player in.
I don't.
You do.
I have a DVD player.
In your room?
No, but I have one. I own one.
See, you don't use it.
I don't use it lately, but I have one.
I guess you could use a console and put it in
Yeah.
your console. There you go.
There you
They
go.
would just
that works
make
out.
money off of like selling merch, like
Yeah.
bucket hats with the logo on it.
No,
Other than
that was the other thing. I said like they should just become like a lifestyle brand.
Yeah, literally, it would work.
Like, look at Nirvana sells millions of shirts a year to teenagers who have never heard a Nirvana song in their entire life. That happens all the time. All they have to do is sell like whoever bought the rights to Blockbuster back in 2018 or 2019 should just start selling Blockbuster official merch to Target.
That's like Radio Shack.
And nostalgia addicted millennials will buy the crap out of that.
There we go.
I still have my Blockbuster membership card.
You might not be able to buy a house if you're a millennial,
But you can get your
buy
Blockbuster merch.
Blockbuster lifestyle
Yep.
wares.
There is a $20 one that just came in.
Airtez00 said, I recommend learning Mandarin now for future prospects.
And making sure that once you learn Mandarin, that you have no pictures of Winnie the Pooh anywhere in your house. Do not do that.
Is this because of all the talk about TikTok getting banned in the US, or is this like
I don't know.
about
Maybe.
bricks?
I did watch.
I don't really know what's going on.
I did watch the video of the TikTok CEO guy talking about how we're good for America. We protect your data. We don't harvest your data.
They were like, what would you call surveillance on Americans on behalf of the CCP? He said, spying isn't the right word for it. You need to call it something else.
Monitoring.
Monitoring.
It's like they had a publicist be like, let's soften the word.
Call it special attention.
Spying is a little bit much. Could we just call it keeping an eye on? We're keeping an eye on Americans, showing you dumb videos of people dancing and slowly lowering everyone's IQ, while the Chinese version of TikTok shows you engineering videos
That is true,
and stuff
yeah.
based in the hard sciences.
Have you seen those videos of like content farms in China?
Yeah.
Content
Like,
forms?
where
No,
all
I'm-
these
They're
people
like-
are in a
they're content
warehouse or
sweatshops.
like on the side of the road or something crazy, like with ring lights and phones like propped up, and they're all like in these little like content.
They have like mini
units.
cubicles.
I'm
know what I
actually
mean?
not I'm actually like not surprised,
Like-
but I haven't seen that. That's kind of.
I would
wild.
assume that they're doing live streams or something, but still,
Wow.
I have no idea what it was.
Let's do two more and then
okay.
we'll move on.
Grammar Paladin said, it took me a while to get through the slog that was the Whatever podcast Mary starred in. The thing that keeps me going was her face of disgust at their fatherless behavior. Brett, will you adopt me? So, so that this super chatter doesn't engage in fatherless behavior, will you be their father?
Here's the thing. I don't think as a single person, I think your chances of being able to adopt are a lot less when you're single. So they might not do that. I would be willing, but I'm guessing that the adoption agency is going to say no to me. That would be my guess.
I wasn't even like trying to look outwardly disgusted. It was just like
You're
my
genuine,
natural-
Oh, it was hilarious.
It was so
when I got to
funny.
see the clips of it, I'm like, so glad she doesn't make that face at me on a regular basis.
Yeah, PCC is like our happy place.
Yes.
Olivia Claire said, happy Friday, Brett, Mary, and Xernue. Random question, what is the best Girl Scout cookie? There are incorrect answers, but I'm curious what y'all think.
I don't buy Girl Scout cookies because it's just child labor laws being skirted. All they're doing is getting kids to sell cookies for them, and that's abhorrent as far as I'm
So
concerned.
you decline.
I decline.
to answer.
Also, like, and I walk by them with a straight face, and I just say no when they're outside the store.
What about
I've
you?
never had a Girl Scout cookie, and it's not out of like a moral judgment. I just never have purchased them or had them, so I can't say. People say the mint ones are really good, but I've never had one.
Thin
before.
Mints.
Thin Mints, and they're the peanut butter chocolate flavored one. I don't know. I've eaten them when other people have bought them and offered them to me, and they're fine, but like I don't really get the hype. I'm never gonna buy them because the Girl Scouts donate to Planned Parenthood.
Oh, that's true. That's a good. I totally forgot about that.
and
That's
they're
true.
super like woke and feminist, and you know,
I didn't know that until
I don't
want to
be a part of that.
I remember having like this really funny discussion with a friend of mine who talked about how great it was that the Boy Scouts became inclusive, that they were allowed. She's like, it's like, and girls are allowed. I'm like, should boys be allowed in Girl Scouts? And her face just kind of disabled. She didn't know
malfunctioned.
whether that was like
NPC
Yeah, it's
software
like-
update
I'm
needed.
sure now, as society's gotten more homogenous and your gender means nothing to society anymore anyway, she would probably say that's okay. But she says that safely now that Boy Scouts isn't even really a thing, right? Like didn't they get rid of the Boy Scouts? Or am I imagining
Did they?
that?
I don't really
They
know.
need non-binary scouts. The
mean,
them scouts.
We only ended up
Them
meeting
Scouts.
organizations like the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts because kids weren't learning any practical tasks from their parents or grandparents anymore and needed an organization to teach them those things. Like, it's all a big, modernity problem. But anyway,
one more.
Denounce the Girl Scouts. I will flip over one of their tables if I see it. Lamb of God 0086 said, Nashville is trying to take country woke. Luke Combs had to come out and apologize for being in Ryan Upchurch's video, Can I Get an Outlaw? I love that song and I love that video, and I can't believe that he did that. I didn't even know that.
I totally buy it.
Just for what though? Like, because I guess Ryan Upchurch was like wearing a Confederate flag in the video, so maybe that was why. But Ryan Upchurch is also like, I guess, problematic, considered problematic. I think he's hilarious and talented, but that's a shame. I didn't know that.
All right, guys, we're going to move on. So this is maybe the saddest story you're going to hear in a long time. So there was a male model named Jeff Thomas who fell to his death supposedly while taking a selfie of himself. There are other claims that say that it could have been due to depression and that they think that it could have been suicide. I don't know if that's true or not.
But why would he have his phone
out
with him?
Yeah.
I
but
don't know.
they're like the reason that it's contentious, guys, is because some people say that he was very positive lately. Other people saying that he had been depressed and that he suffered from mental health concerns. I want to operate under the idea, under the premise that he did, if he did pass away, if he did die while taking a selfie, what is society
What does
kind
that
of
say
what does
about
it say about our society? Like, what does it say? Like,
This
everyone's
is so society.
everyone's seen those videos of like the people who are walking while on their phone and they like fall into a lake or they like trip over something like that. Everyone's seen a video like that. And this is that in an extreme example, but I think that we are becoming more vapid and self-obsessed as a society, and I think it's a problem.
Well, his agent added in some input here and said that they don't believe it's true he intentionally did this. Said he may have fallen while taking a selfie, and I guess personally knowing the guy, I don't know. They said he seemed thrilled and was proud of himself, happy, motivated, excited for his next step.
But people that are depressed can be very positive one moment and be very down the next moment. Like there were definitely times in my life where I don't know if I've ever considered myself wholly depressed, maybe manic at times, but like
still, it's like if everyone in this guy's personal life says there is no way.
Yeah, and also I think this could apply if you look at statistics for women committing suicide, it tends to be pills, nothing physical, whereas men tend to do like a gunshot wound, which is a lot more effective. But this guy's a model, so I think he probably has more like feminine tendencies of being self-absorbed and valuing his appearance. So I don't think he'd do something like falling off a balcony or whatever it was.
Defenestration was the way he wanted to go. I don't know.
I hate that my first reaction to this story, though, when you sent it to me, Brett, was like laughing at it because
it's just
what
sad.
else can you can you do? You know,
Yeah.
like it's so absurd.
But it's absurd, but it's like we've seen the videos. Like it's only a matter of time before people have something like this happen to them. And it says a lot about the world we live in now, where we're more attached to our phones and looking at images of ourselves. It's where this whole concept, why I think the argument for representation has become so persuasive in society now, is because everyone feels like they need to see themselves reflected back at them, and everyone's narcissist, right? Like everyone's becoming the person who needs to see their own reflection, and that's a scary concept. I don't like when I point out, like when I'm editing these videos, like I don't even like looking at like the video. Like I don't even like seeing myself on camera. I'm not a fan of that.
Me
like
too.
it's not something that I enjoy.
Well, it's just like every photo in this article is of a selfie of his. He was a selfie taker.
Well, he was a
frequent
I guess,
selfie
to be fair,
taker.
If I was in as good a
Of
shape
course,
as he is, I would probably be shirtless 90% of
his
the time
looks
too.
are literally his job.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I also don't think that obviously I don't think anyone should be taking a selfie on the edge of a rooftop.
Yeah.
But men in general, probably not a good idea to take selfies.
Men taking selfies is a little
know?
bit weird.
I need to know
Never
your
liked that.
That's very strange.
Thoughts on that?
Not a fan of a guy taking a selfie. Maybe if it's like a group of people, but like at an event, but like taking a selfie in your
there
room.
needs to be like some kind
What?
of prerequisite reason, like
I
why
say,
you're
or if
doing
you
it,
like,
you
or
know?
you're sending it to a specific person and not just posting it on social media.
I just think of a man like posing, and it's very odd. It's just kind of.
It
just
odd.
shouldn't be.
But when you think of a woman taking a selfie, do you feel the same way, or like it's totally different?
I don't. I mean, I guess if I see a guy doing it and I see a girl doing it, my thoughts would be essentially the same. It would make more sense. I might be more surprised by seeing the guy being like having the chutzpah to just do it in public without feeling embarrassed.
So, okay, do you think people should feel embarrassed to take selfies in public?
That's a good question.
Girls, no. Guys, maybe like maybe.
Okay.
Like girls, it's like it just comes with the territory. You expect it. Like you expect them to be taking selfies. Guys, it's like it depends. Like, are they on vacation? Are they out doing something? I don't know. Like it's like if you're somebody who travels alone and you're out doing something, and you're like, imagine like it's really funny. Like now I'm picturing like a guy who's like says that, but he goes on vacation by himself. He's in front of the Eiffel Tower. It's like crap. Is he supposed to have somebody else take the picture for him? Like what's he supposed to do, right? Like he's caught in a tough
pickle.
place here.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
is
know.
he supposed
like,
to just
there's
not
the
have any
meme that,
pictures
like,
of himself?
when a guy sees something cool, he takes a picture of it. When a girl sees something cool, she like puts herself in the
photo.
picture
Absolutely.
with it.
This goes into like a very interesting concept, which is that men watch and women watch themselves being watched.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how we exist, is that men are perceivers and women are perceiving themselves being perceived.
Remember what I said yesterday about He-Man in Barbie and how men act as when men play with when boys played with He-Man dolls, they pretend to be He-Man the character. When women play with Barbies, they pretend that they are Barbie. And it's perceived different by the sexes.
Yeah.
And
But I guess that's why.
But I think when we hear people these days talking about seeing themselves in media, that's a feminine trait that men have learned, that men have picked up on.
men have been like domesticated and emasculated.
Like you should,
a lot.
I should never watch a James Bond movie and see myself as James Bond. That's weird. I should see you should watch the movie and maybe you want to be James Bond.
Yeah, I see
But
that.
you don't want to like imagine that you are. It's weird
Okay, that definitely makes sense
to me.
from the male perspective.
So look, I think for him as a male model, that it's a little bit different. It's his bread and butter, and he probably his social media is how he books work and how he finds people that he works with, and it's part of his
being
social.
a model, I get that part.
Yeah.
But I need to Google this, but maybe I'm wrong, but I would guess he's probably homosexual, but I'm not.
No, he is.
Okay,
He is.
there we
Yep,
go. I
he
was
is.
gonna like fact
I
check
saw
that.
he like took a selfie with Megan Fox.
Yes, I see
at
that.
the VMAs or something.
Yep, got that right here.
Yeah. Like,
Well, he's got the cheekbones for it. He is a male model. He is the malest modelist I've ever seen. He
Yeah.
looks exactly like what you expect a male model to look like.
Yeah,
but it's sad, and it's like if this was something that it was an accident, both outcomes are sad. If it was something where he's depressed and he's actually dealing with the vapid life of somebody who's a model and is struggling, and you see those stories all the time, right? People who are trying to get a foothold, whether it's in Hollywood, the modeling industry, that's a very tough road to walk. And a lot of times the glamour is an addictive, piece of gold at the end of a rainbow that most never reach in a lot of ways. But for something like this, it's just such a tragic outcome.
Yeah.
But it's not just this type of narcissism. We also have the lady who decided to use civil unrest in France as a totally sick place to get some shots for her Instagram.
yeah. What are they protesting about in Paris
Is
right
it
now?
still
anyway?
the raising the age on retirement?
Yeah,
Is that what they're
that's
still?
what I think it
they're
is.
protesting something different every 2 weeks, and
French people like really love civil unrest. It's like kind of their bread and butter.
They're very big fans of protesting. So we have this video here. I'm gonna mute
They
it.
eat cheese as a dessert and don't, shower a
Are they the
lot
ones who
and
don't tip?
burn trash in the streets.
No, Europeans, I believe they
All
don't tip.
Tipping isn't really a thing
Yeah.
there. But it's because they're paid better as well.
Yeah.
They're like, look, this
I
building
mean, she
behind
looks
you.
good, and it's
I was
going to
gonna
be
say,
a good picture.
It is a sleigh.
sure.
I'm gonna count this as a sleigh.
It's a
actually,
sleigh?
I'm gonna vote this
Yeah.
as a sleigh.
She looks really good. It gets a good photo op.
It really is, and she's doing it right. It's not like she's like frumpy and like just.
I kind of like the idea that
awkwardly-
she doesn't care about the civil unrest. That she's just
Yeah.
like in a time of wildly politicized people. She's just
indifferent.
Like she's like, but beauty though.
But this is
She's
my
different.
kind
She's
of
like, I'm
woman.
hot, though.
Yes, this is my kind of woman. So I actually.
I'd rather
am a
she
fan of it.
a girl take selfies at a protest than protest.
Exactly.
Better to take selfies than be an activist. Being an activist is cringe.
You know, maybe I'm okay with that. As somebody who hates activism, the idea that you go there,
Yeah.
like in the summer of 2020, we had all of the people faking like they cared about BLM, going there to like you hear the
No,
stories.
Madison Beer taking that like photo shoot
then
at
leaves.
the BLM riot
Yeah.
and then leaving because they started like tear gassing people.
She's like, yeah, well, I've got my photo op.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Exactly.
No, somebody in the chat says that's protesting. No, it's not protesting. She's taking advantage of people like who are burning down buildings in France to get some great photos. She's like, look, I have to get, if I wanted to start a building on fire to do a photo shoot, I'd have to get permits. I'd have to do
Unless,
all
though,
this work.
Unless she posts the photos and captions it something about like
The protests?
the protest,
That's
saying
stupid.
that she was there and she was like a freedom fighter. Then it's cringe.
Those were not freedom fighter
I
poses
would
that I saw
prefer
there.
no context, but no one has found this chick yet or what her socials are. I need to find them.
She's probably getting them edited and perfected before she posts. But
The
I don't
lighting
know.
was really good.
The
She had a
funny part is, like,
professional photographer.
She looks
with
good. I
her.
like the leather jackets. I like the boots.
looks
It's very
very
subtle.
80s.
She has like kind of messy.
She looks
hair.
like the two girls who are on the arms of the two bikers in the movie Rad. I don't remember their names. There's an 80s movie Rad, and it has these two twins who are professional BMXers, and they've each got like one of these hot 80s girls they all have like the really hot, like the really tall, like you can smell the hairspray.
Yeah.
Their hair's dyed blonde, and you can smell the hairspray and spandex. It's incredible. That's what she looks like.
I
right
like
there.
this vibe. I would say, taking a selfie on the edge of a rooftop, bad vibes. This one, taking a selfie in front of like burning trash in the streets.
I'm telling you,
as your own society crumbles around you, that's a vibe.
I'm
That's
telling
a
you,
vibe.
she wanted to do this before. Her modeling agent said, "Look, we got to get permits for fire shoots. It's a lot of work." She's just industrious. She's like, "Look,
Industrious.
I can go figure this out. I'll just go
Take the
downtown."
opportunity.
Well, they're burning down France, and we'll just and yes, it's Rod. That's who they're talking about. They're talking about in the movie Rad. It's Rod and Rex are the brothers who have the hot blonde girlfriends that have the tall blonde hair. That are blonde.
I was going to add it. It kind of does remind me of like a Blade Runner like background girl, like in the Blade Runner movie. So it's still like that 80s kind of like futuristic but like sexy vibe. But I really do like what she's going for here. So I definitely count this as a slay.
I've changed my opinion. Originally,
I don't think
this
she's
topic-
narcissistic. I think she's performing her normal female duty.
I think she's still narcissistic. I just think that the alternative of her being an activist is worse. So
Yeah, exactly. Like these people burning down stuff and like that, to me, I think that's more abhorrent and like embarrassing to be acting out like that. I'm just not really a fan. But acting like this and just vibing with it and taking advantage of it in a totally like superficial way, that's a slay to me.
look,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
No.
in the vapid world we live in today, I don't think that there's anything wrong with promoting a little bit more of vapid behavior as long as it's not activism. I hate both, but if I had to choose between the two, I hate activism more than I hate
Who
vapid
was
behavior.
it that like there was some celebrity actress who like wrote she like flashed people at some event like many years ago with like something written on her torso. It was like something about gun violence.
Okay, I'm actually, give me a second. I know
It was
exactly
like no,
the
she
picture.
wrote she wrote like gun control on her torso while like flashing people at some like Hollywood party.
I
Was it,
know
like
ex-
Keira Knightley or something. Like who was that?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I'm trying to find it because I have that picture like saved on my phone. I just never.
It just said gun control, right? I don't know. Gun control.
So it was like some type of protest at a where?
No,
at?
it was like an actress. It wasn't really her protesting. She was like praised for this.
And it was at her.
I think I found it. Let me look.
Okay.
Abby. Oh no, that's not it. Shoot, I'm trying to. It must have been like mid or maybe like early. I don't know. It looked like it was an older picture based on like. But I know exactly the image you're describing. I just don't know how to find it.
Ugh, why can't I?
I
find
know. We're gonna find
maybe
it.
it never
after.
happened. Maybe it's like
Maybe it's a
swear.
figment of our
it's a-
imagination.
yeah, maybe it's fake. Maybe this is all some type of weird thing that's been memory hold. Any luck?
We're doing
I'm
our
patiently
best.
waiting. I need
We're
to know.
doing our best here.
I need to know.
I wish I could find this.
Yep.
Damn.
Look, if you had to look, we're in an age now of both narcissism and activism, but at least this time they didn't combine the two and it was just narcissism.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of reasons to be like blackpilled about the state of the world and like social media right now. This is not one of them.
Doll Click in the chat says our PCC assignment this weekend is modeling during a major uprising or natural disaster. That would be a vibe.
I'm going to
you're
do
just
that.
like you're just in a tornado.
You're just in a Chinese spy balloon.
Dude, I thought it would also be another thing that I thought would be funny is like we talk about like a lot of like people who have like YouTube channels. They have like Will Smith has his like fake living room behind him, right? And it's clearly a set. What we need to do is have somebody make a fake car. So that way, like you do your videos from your car, but it's just a fake car that you have like set up in a studio with the green screens around it. So you can change the weather outside of the car based on the tone of the video. So if you're really mad, the video can have a bunch of tornadoes going around behind you outside.
Okay, so I found the image. Her name is Abby Lee Kershaw, who I'm not really familiar with, but the image is very
like a
iconic.
model.
The image is on its own very iconic. Definitely an iconic moment. So, and it just says gun control across her stomach, and she just pulls up her dress to show her underwear.
I despise activism. Also, Holyverse says Jay-Z got money. I actually want to talk about that a little bit, if you're okay with that. Jay-Z now has a net worth of $2.5 billion. Did you see have you ever seen that photo of Jay-Z and Beyonce walking on the beach? And it's like it's like somebody like went out of their way to get the worst possible photo of Jay-Z you could ever get.
I don't think that's very difficult.
No, but
he's not a great looking guy.
But the point is in the photo it says like, if this guy can pull Beyonce, you can shoot your shot, kings.
Yeah, he pulled Beyonce because of his great personality, right?
Like, come on, dude, it has nothing to do with that. The dude's worth $2.5 billion.
Well, I mean, even at the time that they met, she was much younger than
She was
Jay-Z.
18 or 19. He was like, I think he's 12 years older than her. So he's in his early 30s.
And he was already rich and established.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, maybe they clicked at the time, but
They
everyone
seem to
knows
have a
that
great-
he's had affairs.
Yeah, like I mean, the
that
whole
true?
Lemonade. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Listen to Lemonade. Yeah,
That's why she wrote Partition, right?
the whole Lemonade album is about him cheating on her. Yeah.
So they're just, they kind of do embrace that world where they've just understand that like at a certain tax bracket, it's just kind of expected, and they understand that like divorcing, now your brands are
They're in the
inextricably
post-divorce
linked.
era.
Yeah, like their brands are now connected, and they're every bit as much a business
Oh, we've got
arrangement
one
as anything
from
else.
Mike Bullen. He said Xernue's outfit is hot.
What inspires that outfit?
So this is actually the Frankie's Bikinis knit set. They have it in like 5 different colors. I definitely want another color in it. It's super comfortable.
I wish
very
they'd give you a
very
brand
flattering.
deal already.
I honestly
What would
been
the other
trying.
color be?
They have a gray. They have a light blue. I really want the light blue.
I knew it.
I
It's
like
just like the
I like
Juicy
light-
Couture.
It looks like it was
vibe,
made
you know?
to be worn in light blue.
Exactly. So it's absolutely perfect. The sizing works for me. Frankie's runs super small.
Okay.
So like the fact that it fits is like great. So the sizing can be difficult, but I am a Frankie's Bikini stan. It's worth the money. So I'm just gonna plug my love
It's
for
the modern
Frankie's.
day Juicy Couture.
It really is. So shout out to Frankie's Bikini.
Well, you guys are big fans of the early 2000s, and there's nothing more early 2000s than Juicy Couture.
and attract matching
Jay-Z
like,
and Beyonce.
and Jay-Z and Beyonce is all coming together here.
I think Jay-Z being $2.5 billion.
I don't have any concept of like what having $1 billion means anymore. Like,
Because it's not like
It's
liquid.
not liquid. That's my biggest problem with a lot of what we've learned about people in society these days is one litmus test you can do for whether you should actually engage a person in reasonable discussion, especially on Twitter. If they don't understand that when someone's a billionaire, that they don't have a bank account that literally says $1 billion, if they don't understand that concept, don't engage with them.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
literally zapping the life
Elon Musk
out of
could
you.
give everyone $1 million and then
Everybody-
everyone would be rich.
It's the most like juvenile
Why
perspective.
doesn't Jeff Bezos just be Batman?
I have
He could just
that
be
same
Batman.
mindset, except for Elon Musk coming on this podcast.
Yes.
Elon Musk could go on every small podcast, and then every podcast would be
second
popular.
one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like, look, today has been a chill show. show, so it's more noticeable.
Yeah.
Like normally, if the show is more hectic, you don't notice it as much. But when the show is very chill,
Like, oh, there we go.
yes,
Just
it's very loud.
vibing there.
Like, yeah, don't argue with people who don't understand that like liquid capital isn't the same thing as owning real estate, as owning property,
Paintings and
it's not worth it. But like, it's also one of those things where that's the fault of our educational system, right? They didn't teach kids anything.
I mean,
what they need
Beyonce
to...
dropped out of school in 7th grade.
Yeah, no, she was, and I'm going to say I do stan them as a couple, and I think they're a great, it's going to sound super corny, but I mean it, like, they're a great influence to the Black youth as like a Black couple who's
Business
been together
owners.
for 20 years.
Yeah.
They're both successful. Like, Beyonce's not very, I don't know, Beyonce like minds her own business. Like, she's not super out there all the time. Like, I don't know.
Does she post a lot on social media?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
It's not really her.
And if it is,
generation.
it's
She's kind of over, like, she's like just past the age gap. Like, Madonna should have known that she didn't need to do the social media thing. Though it is interesting that you point out that you think she'd be better off on Red Scare and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Especially for somebody who's as obsessed as she is with rebranding. She only ever thinks of rebranding in the context of mainstream media.
Yeah.
When she could be
Well,
rebranding in
I've
other ways.
specifically seen listen to episodes of Red Scare where they talk about Madonna, and like they say she obviously is creatively genius, but when you get her to start talking, she sounds stupid.
I mean, I don't know if I buy that she's creative. She came up in a time where she's a
She
product that
is.
was created by tons and tons of guys named Bob, Steve,
No,
and Will,
I'm going
who
to
are
defend
producers.
Madonna.
And she is the product of record executives, sound engineers, stylists, producers.
and she brought nothing to the table.
No, I'm just saying that doesn't make her a creative genius.
No,
that makes
she
her a
is.
performer.
She definitely was provocative for the time, but again, this is the difference. Being a celebrity now, you're recorded all the time. You have to talk. You have to present yourself. You
be
have to,
that provocative?
It's different 30, 40 years ago than now. When you went on an interview, you knew you were going on an interview. You were prepped. Now it's like not only do you have to go on interviews, but you're doing like regular casual conversation and presenting yourself online. Like, it's completely different.
I don't buy that 30 or 40 years ago she didn't still have to get permission from her record labels to be the way she was. They branded her and labeled her as a provocateur in a way. I think that's a product that's sold to you as much as anything else.
She transgressed against religious norms when there were any.
And the sex book was iconic. Like, absolutely no one did that. She went into acting. She's done so much as a creator.
Yeah.
Like, she's done everything. And like,
I would argue that it makes more sense to say that she was more of a provocateur midway through her career, because by then she had the money to push her own agenda, right?
Yeah.
Like, early on, you're using the capital of these record labels, of these companies, and what they say goes. So if they approved of anything early on, she didn't do that. The record label said you're allowed to do that. Once she made her money and she has more power in the industry, then those choices, I would say, those are her own.
sure. And then that's when you got into like the sex book in the 90s. And then also rebranding again. She's rebranded a million times. The early 2000s with the kiss between her, Britney Spears, and the Christina Aguilera thing.
Yeah.
So that, like, she's kind of,
was that really that groundbreaking?
at the
though?
time,
At the time,
the
yeah.
lesbian kiss
was.
was a big deal.
It was a very
at
big
the
thing
time.
at the time.
Like Tattoo had already done it, and so many
But
people.
it
Yeah, but
wasn't
Tattoo
already
wasn't
done it.
not
as mainstream as Madonna and Britney Spears too.
Yeah.
So that was really groundbreaking. You know, to now, for now, it like doesn't seem like a big deal, like, at all. Just like a kiss, like, just a
No, it's
quick
the
kiss.
opposite of a big deal
It's-
now. Two
yeah.
straight people kiss, they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that still happened in the movies
People
and
are
stuff
still
like that.
straight.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's that's going to be eventually one day, like, it's going to be put on the special skill set of an actor's resume. It's going to be like, will do straight roles. And they'll be like, whoa, holy crap, this guy's versatile. Look, Jay-Z, I think Jay-Z is a good role model, like you said, at least in the business sense. I think he proves that, like, look, as somebody who, oh no, never mind.
Title. I was gonna literally say
no, well, not
tight.
just title, but he also had this thing where he talked about black capitalism that was like somehow it was different than regular capitalism. Never mind, I take
But he has
that back.
educated.
mean?
No,
Yeah.
he has a song on the 444 album where he tells people, like, learn how to invest in real estate. The
Yeah.
Jewish people know how to do it, and
Yeah.
we need to, like, band together and buy real real estate together if I bought this product.
doesn't
It's
mean-
like so
he
like
doesn't mean
Together,
band
like
together.
you're the one buying real estate,
yeah,
dude. It's
so
just
it's
you.
like he's promoting it to his,
He means
Black
he means
people.
let me be majority owner and have all of the power over you as a minority stake owner in some project.
We're
I
gonna like
have.
go back into a serfdom structure of society where Jay-Z is like a lord
the
over
land only land
over many acres of land, and then all of his fans are his serfs.
Do you see that Tom Brady bought like a WNBA team? Probably cost him like a
No.
paycheck.
That's
like,
weird.
How much do you think it cost
Weird
to buy
decision.
a WNBA?
He probably lost
he
a
got,
bet.
He got drunk and bought a
That's
WNBA
if anything
team.
is woke capitalism. That's woke capitalism.
I like the idea that he either lost a bet or got really drunk at a friend's bachelor party and like bought it by accident. Like he put it in like the shopping cart of some like ultra exclusive app that rich people have where they can just buy companies.
and it's a
That
Vegas
and Raya.
team.
He knows the owner of some company and like they got drunk together and the guy's like, I don't even want this stupid team anymore, and he's like, I'll buy it from you, and he like signed it away on a napkin. And he woke up the next day, he's like, holy crap, I have to buy a WNBA team that doesn't bring in any revenue, and their highest paid player makes as much as a regular NBA mascot. That's insane, dude.
It's just his post-divorce flop era that happened.
What? Look,
Yes.
he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine.
gonna
He's
be a
gonna be.
flop era.
He's gonna look. I think he'll end up. A guy like him is gonna get married again real fast. I'm sure. No, he's got kids though. Maybe he'll hold off for a little bit because they got kids.
I think men usually have a post-divorce flop era.
Where everything goes wrong. Well,
Yeah. There's
no,
like, oh.
no, because he had their problems. Like they went like he was like 0-8 at the beginning of the season, and then as soon as the divorce got finalized, they started winning again. So maybe he just needed to.
0-8's really bad for him though. Either way,
Like so, Giselle was just.
she was doing
She's
witchcraft.
doing her magic.
She did witchcraft to help him win, and
That's-
that's a fact.
Oh, dude, that's it's funny too
South
because
American
no
witchcraft.
sports, nobody who's actually an athlete would ever actually make fun of that because athletes are extremely superstitious.
Yes.
Like growing up playing sports, you're extremely superstitious
Mm-hmm.
about equipment, about who touches your equipment, about
How you put it on, your
yep,
process,
the-
your routine.
put it like I had a friend who with hockey. It's right skate on first every time, and it's funny too because that's not even really something to be superstitious about because it's such an inherently learned trait. You very rarely. Could you even remember the last time you put on the other shoe first?
I haven't even.
I don't
I
think
need to
about
pay
it.
attention
Like-
now. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of random. I don't know. For me, it's kind
Yeah,
of
me
random, but I'm
too.
not an athlete or anything like
Steve
that.
Ryman says men have a period of introspection and self-improvement after a divorce. They kick through the ashes to see what they did wrong. Women think they're flawless and immediately hop back on to the next pole. That was not nice at the end there. That was very mean.
Someone is scarred for life.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Very mean.
Well, they say like women process the divorce while they're still married, and then
Yeah.
they initiate the divorce
Men
after
don't-
they're done processing the fact
Yeah.
that the relationship's
The
already
key there,
over.
ladies and gentlemen, is that women initiate 80% of divorces.
That is true. That
Well,
is
It's
true.
yeah,
Or it's
but
in the
it's
high
because
70s.
like they accept it, like psychologically they do this whole like solo journey where like they've already accepted that the relationship is over and unsalvageable. Then they initiate the divorce when all possibility of reconciling is over in their mind.
And that's
And-
why
yeah.
it's always irreconcilable differences.
Probably, yeah.
That's BS.
Yeah. I mean, men just.
I don't know
I have
anything
no
about-
strong take on this.
I'm obviously like anti-divorce and like pro-marriage.
Yeah.
It
But
is.
who would be pro-divorce? Who would be anti-marriage? I guess a lot of people are anti-marriage now. But
And
No,
more
did-
ambivalent.
Did
or
you see
whatever.
the ads up in Portland that said like don't have kids? It's an affront to like you're doing your society of like you're harming
I'm tuckering
society.
right now.
Like they were ads that said do not have kids. You're hurting society by having kids.
I mean, that's been
basically.
promoted for a long time
Yeah.
to do with the climate change and stuff. The climate change idea is like totally like.
The funny thing is like when people have that one, I'm actually kind of relieved when they give me the climate change argument. I'm like, oh, your brain has just been hacked by a bunch of nut.
Usually, climate
jobs.
change is just the excuse that they'll give immediately, but the real reason is because they think it's torture to be alive.
Yeah,
they don't
no,
want to subject
those are
someone
the
else
ones-
to being alive.
Those are the ones that freak me out. The people
They're
who
suicidal.
are like, that are like life is awful, long, painful, and scary, and you're harming people by bringing them into the world. They're the same type of people
Yeah.
who want you see those like those funny lawsuits where it's like a girl sues her parents for being born. Like, I didn't ask for this. Like, how dare you give birth to me?
Yeah.
Like, it's an inherent flaw in how they see the world. And unfortunately, I think that once you're there, it's very hard to get away from something as
People just don't
doomsday as
think
that.
suffering has like meaning anymore.
Yeah.
Well, also I think a lot of people believe that they shouldn't have to suffer, or they shouldn't have to struggle.
Yeah.
Or they believe that they've been calibrated to believe that any struggling that they experience is inherently done to harm them by other people that have an agenda, rather than just the fact that life is arduous, long, and sometimes a struggle.
I mean, it's just a selfish and then also godless perspective that unfortunately a lot of people have. And then the idea of having children, especially if your own life is so depressing, it's like, oh, well, I can't bring someone else into the world. And it's also like alleviating them of any responsibility so they can continue having like a completely like meaningless life that's only like for themselves.
And that's what our society promotes now, is a life of self-obsession, is a life of indulging your every whim. I think celebrities are a big part of that. I think the idea of, was it like a long time ago, like when me and you first started working together, there was like a Janine song that I was extremely offended by, because it was the most narcissistic song I'd ever heard in my, it's called,
Oh,
it's
like every Ava Max song?
The name of the song was called Loving Me, and it's literally the most self-obsessed, like, I'm proud of myself because I exist. My life has been so difficult. Woe is me. Wham, wham, wham.
Well,
Crybaby.
you were just spiraling about Ava Max's "Not Your Barbie Girl."
It's an affront to
Song.
pop culture and society.
Ava Max is Albanian, so
You have to
also,
stand in solidarity.
I have to stand in
That
solidarity
song,
with Ava Max.
no, as somebody who loves pop culture, you shouldn't be able to support her.
music
That song,
trash.
Okay, there's this one song by her that I really do like.
the song "Not Your Barbie Girl," where she says, "You can't touch me unless I say so." I'm like, original. That was never okay. Why are you talking about it as if it was at
As
one
if
time
the original
okay?
Barbie Girl song is like advocating for like our word or something.
Exactly.
I don't
Like
know.
that song, I was extremely miffed by that song, and the idea that you have to take something as hilariously 90s and culturally iconic as Barbie Girl and turn it into a generic 2020s feminist anthem about making your... She says in the song, "I can take myself out on a dinner date." That's not a dinner date. That's just going out to
It's
dinner, you
the same thing
psychopath.
as Miley Cyrus's Flowers is
I can buy
the
myself
same exact
flowers.
message, and it's like you just sound schizophrenic or sad.
No, what it is we've
I can talk to myself
We've
for
scared
hours.
we've
You
scared
sound
women
insane.
we've scared women shitless of the idea of ever being involved with the guy, because they still believe that even though all evidence points to the contrary, more women are going to college, more women are graduating college, they believe that being in a relationship and being in any way reliant upon a man, whether that's for physical protection, maybe it's for financial reasons, they believe that it's some type of death sentence and that they're going to end up in The Handmaid's Tale. And
they're
that's
scared
objectively not
because-
reality.
No, they're scared because like men these days are not the type of men that can
Provide.
protect or provide for them.
So what are they offering? It's
of
only-
course they're deathly afraid and like go to their email job for safety and
But
security.
the men are at those email jobs too. The
men that can't protect them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
It's-
get this like overwhelming sense in like our
But those
longhouse
women are being-
society that something is very wrong.
But those women and the men and those men are both being told that the type of masculinity that you're talking about is bad.
Yeah.
So they're told, and though it is also fun, you also hear about feminists who also say they wouldn't date like a male feminist, like they would want an alpha male even though they hate.
They say
alpha
that
men.
out loud?
There have been
I mean, I know they act
studies-
that way, but they haven't like said that.
There have
They'll never
absolutely
admit
been
that.
there have absolutely been videos of people covering where feminists will admit openly that even though they don't like what it stands for, they would still never be attracted to what they advocate for.
I mean, look at the numbers with the hookup culture is pretty like obvious that the women are going for a smaller selection of
Yeah.
the men. It's not ever. It's like the top 20% or
That's
whatever.
another one that really pisses off like liberal men when you give them those statistics about like the way dating is going. If you bring up how dating culture has been affected by apps and stuff like that.
But the funny part is that it's actually like biologically true. Like I forget what the exact number is, but most men in history never reproduced.
Yeah. And that's so natural
it's
selection
kind
is
of
there.
natural selection to an extent. It's just more like obvious, and we all feel because of like Christianity promoting marriage. It's kind of like, oh well, you get to have your partner, like one partner, and that works. But like if that doesn't exist, like what's the motivation?
Not everyone can be Jay-Z and offer you millions of dollars. I also saw a thing on a clip today where like a girl said like she believed 9% of men own yachts.
She just
9%?
guessed that. She just pulled that.
Like that
out
was
of
the
thin
number.
air.
That seems like a small
number. No, that is an enormous number.
That's what I'm saying. She thinks
Yeah.
that's small.
She-
I mean,
like, oh,
maybe like 0.1%
than
of
that,
men
yeah.
own a boat that's
Yeah.
not a yacht.
It was like, and then like another person said 12%. It's like this is what our culture has done to people. We are a damaged culture right
insane.
now. All right, we got some super chats there, Mary.
Steve Ryman said Chinese content farms are the real wet markets. Yeah, I rewatched the end scene of Contagion, and it's literally bat contaminants that end up in a wet market.
We're gonna. I'm picturing them buying ring lights in bulk. they buy them and hand them out to people.
I don't.
Yeah.
I still wish I could have the context for those videos. It's very disturbing. Goofer Trooper said, being late to the party as usual. I finally listened to the whatever podcast you were on, Mary. After 2 hours, you really went off. LMAO, let's go. Yeah, after 2 hours, not many people were even still like mentally engaged.
Well, a lot of people haven't done something.
Yeah.
Had any of those girls been on any podcast before?
They had been on like streams, but not where they have to talk, or like think. So
It's also really funny too because like we had Ethan Van Sciver on yesterday, and he's like, because he streams for like 4 hours at a time, so this was like cakewalk to
Nothing.
him.
Yeah.
Like he's like he could do that in his sleep.
I mean, there's people who stream for like 8 hours straight.
Yeah?
It's like that's crazy too.
yeah. Goofer Trooper said, Mary, can you tell my BF that he's hummus sexual? Does he just really like hummus? I'm confused. Please explain. James Orenthal Wen said, Andrew Schultz been saying he manufactured the STEM algorithm on Chinese TikTok rumor. If true, he might be a grifter of the century.
But it
Some
wasn't-
Girl Scout Samoas, yo.
I've
had the
seen more than just him say that that's true. But I mean,
Wait,
you never know.
what?
That like you're saying the rumor that that the
Oh,
Chinese
that they show
TikTok
educational
shows
videos.
educational videos.
I thought that was kind of BS.
I don't
too.
believe. No, a
It might be
country-
slightly different.
No, I don't buy. I don't believe that a country as clamped down as China is by the government lets out anything into the public that they don't want out there.
Yeah, but maybe it's not as curated in a positive way as you think. Like maybe it's just censoring
They're
negative
terrified
things.
of. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like
It's just they still have like stupid like humor videos that don't have any dialogue in them.
But I bet you,
know what
that
mean?
I bet you that the algorithm punishes those and doesn't promote them, and that they don't get the views that the ones that they want them to see are. And maybe it's not STEM videos. Maybe it's just anti-American propaganda videos that they're promoting. But
I wish I could know. Like, I want to go over there.
Yeah,
and
let's go
check
to
it
China.
out. Field trip.
heard it here. Well, PCC is just CCP backwards.
Oh, there we go.
I've been to China, but I used a VPN.
You are. Oh yes. Well, yeah. For a while, when Mary was doing her outro, she'd promote her WeChat account.
Yeah. The last of my kind said, fake Mentos ad idea. Girl tries to get into a bar. Bouncer says 21 and over must show ID. Girl looks through the bag and can't find ID. Girl eats Mentos. Pulls out Blockbuster membership card. Bouncer laughs and lets her
Dude,
in.
it's basically the same thing. I mean, if anything proves that you're over 21, it's having an actual Blockbuster card.
That'd be pretty funny.
I don't.
That would be a Blockbuster ad. Not, not
and I
Mentos.
don't. And I don't agree. I don't want the state being the monopoly on legalized identification. Anyways, has anybody been to the DMV? It's an awful
oh yeah,
place.
I've had to go I'm in California now, so it's been just.
It's a terrible
Really
place.
bad.
It's a terrible.
I've had to go like 5 times, and I still have to go. It's just it never ends. It's
Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate your support.
Privatize the DMV.
I'm not gonna read this username.
Understandable.
But he said, tomorrow's my birthday. Brett, can I train an AI to recognize you? I promise some spicy memes.
Well, if the name is correct, that can't be your birthday because that guy's birthday is April 20th.
Yikes. Tiger Ginge 66 sent $1 without a message. Thank you. Corey Anderson said, men when choosing a partner always choose the smart girl. Is that like they do choose the smart girl, or are you telling them to choose the smart girl?
I think
comment.
I think for the most
Just choose someone
part,
who's as intelligent as you.
it's or how about this? Just choose one that isn't mean to you all the time.
Yeah, so that's
Like-
not be nice.
Like they're like in the end, like for a lot of it, it's why women get the part wrong when they're like whenever Kevin Samuels would have the women on, they'd be like, I make my own money. He's like,
Oh
they
my
don't
gosh,
care if you
men
make
don't
your own
care.
money.
We
They
were
do
just
not
talking
care.
about this. We missed the opportunity for Kevin Samuels to be on the Whatever podcast.
Rest. Can we do a
Like-
little like moment of
Rest in-
silence for Kevin Samuels?
Yes.
Like
Was legend.
I'm
Okay.
glad we just can honor him because I really do miss him.
But
he
the
was
fact that we
such a bright
can't
light.
see him on Whatever or Fresh and Fit, like he
Imagine
was
him on
really
Whatever.
ahead of his own time.
He was. He started everything. Like,
He walked so that they
Fresh and
could
Fit
run. Literally,
oh
yeah.
my gosh. Yeah. Rest in peace. I really do miss him.
he was doing it, but remotely.
Yeah.
Basically.
Like every
It's the
time one
same
of those
thing.
women would be like, they're like, I'm a high value woman. They're like, why? They're like, well, I got my own money. He's like, they don't care. That doesn't make you a high. That literally doesn't make you. It's just going to make you argumentative and
Bossy
and bossy.
and, yeah.
And
Makes your
that's-
standards higher.
and it makes it's a turnoff for guys who actually have their own money. And the thing is, it's not a turn on to the other guys either, because then they're going to feel emasculated.
Yeah, I mean, it only works if the other guy has a normal or like subpar income where they need a partner to, help pay bills. But I think like obviously that happens. I'm not dissing that, but like I don't think that's the situation for the most ideal relationship or for like the most,
also,
like high value
Mike
people.
Bolin said Kevin Samuels goat. P.S. Xernue is cute.
Oh, thank you.
And I
Years
think
ago.
the thing about
Years
those
ago.
podcasts is they speak to who they're actually speaking about isn't who the audience is. Most of the audiences of those podcasts, I would wager, are at an income bracket that would require a second income, or depending on where they live. So it's not the same thing. It's like if you're a 6-figure income dude, are you watching Fresh and Fit podcast? I don't know. Maybe you are.
Just like clips
But
or something,
I
but not a
imagine a
full
lot
one.
of the people that watch them can't afford to be in a relationship where they're the only one that's working. Most people can't these days.
So this is like comes to a theory I have, which I want to just speak on for a second. I think that the natural progression, I think we spoke about like MILF Manor and stuff. I think like age flipping is kind of a necessary thing that will happen more and more, is that the younger men will get with older women who have jobs already to like provide for them, and then girls who are younger will get with an older guy who has money to provide. So it's like the genders are flipping because a lot of
As
the
the
men
economy gets
as the
worse,
economy
yeah.
gets worse, both genders, because the men who are like 25, most of them don't have a job that can
But that doesn't
support a
mean
family.
that the young guys, as their older female partners get older, like the young guys are still going to be attracted to young girls. So
Yeah, for sure. But I just think
it's like presenting a big
The
problem.
what? The younger guys.
The
are gonna
young
be-
guys who get with older women are still.
but
I
gonna be
think
attracted
they're
to
being
younger
trained to be
women.
attracted to older
That's what
women.
I think.
And
And older
plastic
women-
surgery and the way we've moved our society, that women are becoming like a weird Borg of agelessness, where they're like between the
Yikes.
ages of 29 or 30 and 50, they're going to look generally kind of the
if they
same.
especially take care of themselves, and then also
Yeah.
a lot of men like don't have super high standards for like
That's
who they
true.
sleep with. So it's like they'll kind of
true.
forfeit that if they have the stability, and just so many men are naturally like emasculated and like they don't have much like confidence, so they will be gravitating to have like a mommy figure. Like I feel like that's just what's going to end up happening more and more.
Maybe.
Okay.
Did you want to keep reading
Yep,
super
keep
chats?
going.
Yeah.
Okay. Gordon Shumway said, I'm not sure more women going to college is something good to hang your hat on. What are they majoring in? If they don't select a lucrative major, that just means that they will have a lot of debt.
Yeah. I mean, college isn't really a good idea for anyone, like male or female, just because of like the majors that are the most
Yeah.
popular. They're completely useless and not
Unless you
worth
can
it.
go for free and you're just like biding
Yeah.
your time.
Yeah.
Well, you know how you could go to college if you were Emma Chamberlain. You could just, if you were Emma Chamberlain and you wanted to go to college, all you have to do is charge $10,000 for an Instagram DM from her Mary.
Well, the weird thing is, like, Emma Chamberlain never had to finish high school, let alone go to college. So this was actually fake news, but I saw this tweet that
I don't know if it's fake news. I think they're playing.
well, maybe
some
they're like
sort
doing
of,
a cover.
Yeah, they're covering it up.
This tweet said, "Why is Emma Chamberlain charging $10K for an Instagram DM? This is wild." And it's a screenshot from shopemmachamberlain.com. And it says personal thank you note from Emma in Instagram DM. $10,000, and then it says you can do an afterpay option where you finance it on $900 a month.
Finance a message from Emma. I had no idea who Emma Chamberlain was. Mikey Bolin, right there in the chat.
Mike Bolin said, I live in Napa Valley. Many affluent women, 40 plus, and if they take good care of themselves, can look fabulous well past 50 plus. Work out, get work done if needed, and eat right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's very true.
Look, and that's the thing. Like that's a great thing, right? That people are going to be able to hold on to their beauty and their looks for longer if they take care of themselves. But we need to promote people taking care of themselves and not just taking surgical options for these things.
So did you guys think that the 10K DM thing was real?
Dude,
when you first saw it, or did you think it was fake?
I thought it was like, my first instinct was that it was some sort of like something's amiss here.
Yeah.
Like there's information.
Your
that's
BS
not,
detector.
Yeah, like my BS detector went off because again, like that's, I mean, it's, or if it even is true, it's like who would do that? And if they did, I mean, okay, good for you. Like,
I'm with Jacob Edler. Emma the Chad capitalist. Let's just, you know, it's the free market at work, ladies and gentlemen.
I fell for it, but I thought it had to have been a publicity stunt or brand deal. Like,
definitely publicity stunt is like possible with it.
Yeah, and then now she has spoken out about this situation and said that when she first saw this screenshot, she thought that it was a scam and she thought that her website had been hacked or something.
Well, and a lot of people of famous people now have to worry about fake versions of their profiles, offering everyone in the world crypto.
Or crypto advice.
Like lots of crypto advice going around like that. Like eventually one day that's going to be like how you know you've made it. Instead of a blue check mark, it's like, am I offering anyone crypto advice?
She said a few days I started seeing comments asking why I was selling a DM for 10K. I assumed this was an online scam as I had never offered to sell a DM for any amount of money, let alone 10K. People were saying this was for sale on my merch site, and I checked the site to see if it had been hacked and couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. Then she contacted the company that runs her merch website, and they investigated it. And now I'm looking at her website.
We found we did nothing wrong.
I am looking at her website right now, and they put up this PR statement, and the website is inactive. It's on this one page. It says, there have been false and inaccurate claims that Emma Chamberlain was offering DMs in exchange for $10,000. As background, in 2018, Kozak, Emma's merch company, was testing a prospective rewards program related to Emma's merch without her knowledge. In testing, they created an outrageous, never activated reward level that was not intended to be active or purchased. These reward ideas were never run by Emma since they were not meant to be available for sale, but simply intended for internal testing purposes.
Mikey Bolin says DM by Afterpay, LOL.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story? One of the great memes that came out of COVID was like when Domino's Pizza started offering like finance options on pizza, and everyone's like, "We've officially reached the end time."
Stage capitalism.
The end of the line for late stage capitalism is that like you can finance your pepperoni pizza.
Like I was on Sephora and there was a $9 eyeliner and you can afterpay it for like $3 a month, and I'm like $9.
Unreal, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
they think that somebody went into Google's search engine optimization indexing system, whatever that means, and discovered this and started spreading it to press outlets.
I mean, that's kind of genius if it's fake. I also I like the idea that like they're just looking for an idea, like a way to explain it away.
It's a pretty good explanation
fair
because it's so hard to
explanation.
understand what they're talking about.
Exactly. No,
I don't know.
I mean, I just think with Emma Chamberlain is I don't know who would have beef, like anyone who would like really want to try like, oh, let me get her with this. Like I feel like it was either promotional
Who did
or
she piss off?
Yeah, like who does like Emma Chamberlain, like she's like kind of very milquetoast, I would say.
She's just bleh.
I mean, it seems like something that she would do based on her track record. Like,
Yeah, you were telling me, what were the things that she was selling?
In 2018, she had, you might remember this like big scandal because people thought her merch was incredibly overpriced. She was selling like a scrunchie for $25, a shirt.
I mean, a lot of that just sounds like money laundering.
A plain white shirt for like $40. She also like, she was selling them blurred on her website. Like you couldn't see the item that you were purchasing, and it was part of the the shtick. Like
Who was it that was
surprise.
selling stuff in trash bags? Was that Balenciaga?
no, that
in
I don't
trash
think so.
bags?
Yeah, like
it probably would be. Balenciaga tends to
Or
do
was
stuff
it?
like
It was
that.
it was like several $1,000 trash bags.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's sort of like that. It's
yeah,
it's like
Balenciaga.
the what is it, speculative value or like something like that, you know, like you buy it based on the prestige of buying it. She was trying to like add value to her brand, so she blurred out all of the items, all of like the clothing that she was selling back in 2018, and people were like, this is BS. Like your fans are like 12 to 15-year-olds who have no money, and they're trying to support you, and you're basically scamming them.
I mean, I would like to do a deep dive into Emma Chamberlain's like background, because I feel like, I mean, she's an ambassador for like Miu Miu, I believe. I mean,
Yes.
why, like, just so Louis Vuitton, like she's going
She's
to
been
like
so
fashion week.
astroturfed though.
And I'm like, who is this? I mean, people watch her content, but I feel like there's way more, like, I don't know where it is, like older YouTube or TikTok people who are way more prevalent and have bigger personality than her. I mean, she has like a podcast now where she talks about like mental health or something. And then, of course,
Is there anything?
Can anyone like shut up about mental health
Yeah,
for like 2
exactly.
seconds?
Like-
No, I'll tell you what. If you are a liberal white woman in America, you're given two options: Red Scare or mental health. And those are your options.
state of like female
those are,
affairs.
those are what you're
Flip
allowed
that.
to talk about.
As I was like listening to Red Scare this morning.
Those are like
Why are
if
you
you want to
calling
start a
me
pod,
out?
if that's what you want to start a podcast on, they have to talk about mental health, because it's like it could
Ew.
literally mean anything. It's
Self-care.
It's like I went,
Buying my merch is self-care.
I went on
Buying
a
my
walk today.
$10,000 DM on Instagram is self-care.
that's another one that I hated too, was
hate
the
it.
term self-care, which just means indulge my every whim obsessively and never say no to myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like
I agree with you. Like, she kind of seemed to have been promoted out of nowhere. Anyone who has been the person that interviews celebrities at the Met Gala, astroturfed.
Yeah,
like
there's
Kiki
no way.
Palmer did it. I think
don't-
Z-Way did it.
Yeah,
It's not even
Z-Way.
necessarily astroturfed. It's just the weird hybridization between people who make their money or make their career as an influencer and then moving into the
But
mainstream.
there are, like,
I
if
just
you
don't
look
feel
up
like-
Emma Chamberlain, there are just countless articles that are like how Emma Chamberlain revolutionized the fashion industry.
and it's like, who is saying
and like
this?
you've never even heard of this chick. You
We know
like,
this because we're the ones saying it. Like everyone's saying that she is revolutionizing the fashion industry. Why do we know this? Because we're the ones saying that everyone is saying
And for
it.
once, it's quite literally what the woke people say it is, which is a mediocre skinny white girl who like wears what's trendy at the moment, and people say that she invented it. You know,
Yeah, and
like
I mean
it's that.
exactly, because she can
Well, I
wear.
mean, somebody
anything.
always, very rarely does the person who actually invents something ever get credit, or very rarely
No,
does
and
the
I'm not
person who makes
expecting them
something.
to. I'm just saying, like, don't claim that she did it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I don't see it. I've never heard a man even like online say she's attractive. Like I don't see clout
She's-
around her.
she's
It's only
very-
very few women who used to watch, or girls who'd watch her like 5-6 years ago when she was like doing vlogging or whatever, or lifestyle videos on
Yeah.
YouTube. But like, who is really into Emma Chamberlain? I don't know. I mean, she's on these like red carpets, I guess, or the fashion week stuff, and having all of these sponsor whatever partnerships with these designer brands, and I'm just like, where is this coming from? She must be like some sort of, I mean, I don't know, but she's probably some sort of nepo baby or something like that.
All I know is that her dad was an artist and not a very famous one.
I don't
Okay.
know.
I have no idea.
I just,
But she's just in the
$10,000
permanent class of like influencers who are invited to mainstream Hollywood events.
Look, that's a reasonable thing for the companies. That makes perfect sense. These people who literally make their living by posting on social media. I point out the dancer I like all the time. Her name is Enola. She's like a lot of what she posts about now is going to these premieres and these events because she's very famous on TikTok. She's very famous on Instagram. She's now doing a lot of dance choreography for mainstream celebrities. But she's sent to these events because they know that her following on all these platforms spans large amounts of people, which they then say like make sure you include the hashtag for the event in your story posts and post all these pictures.
And they give you free items where you post it on your story and say, "Thank you at Balenciaga."
Yeah.
Balenciaga.
It's literally like that.
Look, I get why the influencer, like why companies view the influencers as a good, it's almost like free advertising. Like, hey, come see this movie. And if you ever notice, like the influencers are never allowed to to take it for granted in front of the camera. So it's like, I got invited to go to this movie premiere, whereas a celebrity's like, oh my God, I have to go to this movie premiere. Oh my gosh, I have to go do this or that. Whereas like the influencers, because there's still that kind of gap between internet famous and celebrity famous, that they're like, they still look as if they're like starstruck at these events, even though a lot of these influencers have larger followings online than most of these celebrities.
Sometimes more money.
And are objectively bigger names now to a younger generation.
It's like Addison Rae. I remember she was like the interviewer at some sort of MMA event.
And or Charlie D'Amelio.
UFC. She was a UFC correspondent. People really got angry about that. But my thing is, Addison Rae has more clout than a girl, even if she went through the platform.
She doesn't know anything about UFC. Like
who
she doesn't need to.
She doesn't need to. It's her personality.
Charlie D'Amelio was like the most popular person at the NBA All-Star game.
Well, it's like you were an announcer at a boxing match, right?
Yes.
Like,
kind
what
of.
do you know about boxing?
Exactly.
What
or
really
wrestling?
She's
Nothing.
Like
it's a
like
personality. It's a clout. It's the
the
clout, and that name is going to bring people to watch. If they know it's Addison Rae, I mean, she was like the biggest person or second biggest person on TikTok, so that's going to bring people in. So people have like this. They still have this adversarial reaction to influencers when it's like now they honestly are a celebrity. Like they're at the same level as an actor at this point.
Well, I think it's still going to be adversarial because the actors are going to be annoyed by it. The actors are going to be annoyed.
They're becoming one and the same. Though a lot of the actors, I don't think there's as many trained actors as there used to be. Now it's like you switch from, oh, I'm an influencer, now I'm an actor, or now I'm a singer, or whatever.
A lot of actors are going in to be trying to be influencers
or vice
after the
versa.
fact, or they're trying to grow their
Grace
social
Van
media.
Dien from Stranger Things just switched to Twitch streaming because she said she was like approached by creepy producers to like do threesomes and stuff, and she didn't want to go along with that.
Good for her for sticking to her.
Look, I think that eventually it will be a Borg of celebrity where like you'll have to be both an actor and an influencer, and then it'll all just recycle over again. It's gonna be horrible.
My verdict, though, is that she was genuinely about to sell $10,000 Instagram DMs, but then when they gauged the reaction, they decided to go back on it.
It's funnier if she's like, I would never do that. $5,000 was the most I would charge for a DM. I would never charge $10,000. Are you kidding me? The tax implications on that are horrendous.
But I don't know. If there are people getting front row seats to Taylor Swift concerts, maybe, you know, there are parents out there willing to spoil their kid with an Emma Chamberlain.
That is a scary thought. That is a scary thought. Plus, like, why would anybody want to do that?
I don't know.
It's horrible.
I genuinely can't relate.
All right, we got some super chats there. Mary? We got a $20 one right there.
Wait.
From Mikey Bolin.
Oh,
Mike Bolin.
Mike Bolin said, online personalities like Tim Pool and Mike Xernovich have more cultural impact than actors.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways,
agree.
yeah.
Definitely.
And a lot of them work at a larger rate, right? A lot of these actors put out one movie a year and do a TV show, and a lot of these other people, they're in the public eye with new material all the time, which I think it's easier to burn out, but it's also it allows people to engage with you more consistently, which probably builds a stronger rapport with your audience.
Parasocial relationship, yeah.
Goofer Trooper said, homosexual because YouTube won't let me say gay.
Oh. What?
I
Hummus.
didn't know hummus
Well,
was
That's as good- that's
if
as
you're
good
a
as-
woman, I hope your boyfriend isn't actually gay.
Did you see Did you see that that video that was posted recently about the person who said, or it was a girl, it was like a thirst trap like screenshot, and it said like, just broke up with my boyfriend because I found out he's a communist. I'm like, that is not real. That is fake. I don't care what anyone
He was
says.
like hiding this and
Like,
then came out.
Yeah, I was like, don't. It's like whenever you see those videos, it's like hot women in the military, and it cuts to a bunch of dudes like, don't fall for it.
Yeah.
It's a psyop. Don't re-up. Don't join the military. Don't do it. Like, that's what this is. Like, this girl being like, now if it was a video of a guy being like, I just got in a fight with my girlfriend because I found out she's a communist, I could buy that one. But I don't know if I buy that.
I mean, if your girlfriend is a communist, if any of you out there, your girlfriend is a communist, just like pat her on the head and say, "Yeah, sweetie, that's great."
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, it's like not like the 1950s. Like, I mean, like, what does communism even mean? Like, it's kind of like
She's just LARPing. Like,
yeah,
it's okay.
exactly.
Whatever.
Put one of those like cute furry hats on with like the
Yeah, let her
hammer
LARP.
and sickle, you know.
Is the capitalist in the room with us now?
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Whoa, Brett, calm down. Hello, Brent and guest. Hi, Mary.
What was why did I need to calm down? That's the real question there. Why did I
He's
need to
just
calm down?
gaslighting you.
That's
It's okay.
why are they so mean to me? They're always telling me it's a different day of the week. They're always telling me that the time is wrong, and I buy it because it's just not fair. All right, guys. Xernue, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter. It's Xernue. The spelling's in the video, so it won't be too hard.
If you're listening, though,
Yeah, if you're
on
listening,
Spotify or something.
Yeah, so it's Xernue. So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, pretty active on there, and you can give me a follow. So thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
I enjoy following your content because it's the opposite of like anything that would ever come up in my feed.
Thank
so
you.
I'm
glad to provide
no,
that.
it's a good kind of gives you a wider view of the world when you see stuff like that. So
Yes.
Mary, we got one more there.
We do from Carnell. Emma Chamberlain is the Jenna Marbles of Gen Z. There's really nothing else to it. I don't know. Thank you.
We'll wait for the outro because that wouldn't be polite.
You can follow me on
This platform and this one and this one.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
You can send me some validation on Instagram at Mary Archived and send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a good weekend. And we also are doing meme reviews still on Monday, so go to the subreddit, post whatever memes, edits, clips, whatever you would like us to react to, and we might react to it. We're gonna find the best content. So do that. Give us high ratings on Spotify, whatever platforms you listen on. Like the video, just do it. I'm tired of asking you. Subscribe, just do it. I know a lot of you are lurkers, but it's time to put away your pride. Just do it.
Well, you just covered most of what I do on the outro. Like the video, leave comments on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already.
But they need a firmer hand.
Yes, I'm far too polite, Mary. I'm far too polite. Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Brett Dasovic. I almost said TikTok. I do not have a TikTok.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be, I don't know what I would post on TikTok.
Just dance videos.
That's never going to happen. For the show, we are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen to this show rather than watch, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow Pop Culture Crisis on social media, we are on Twitter at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with another episode on Monday. See you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.